Wild, wild. Wicked wild, wicked wild, wicked wild, wild west. Jim West, desperado, rough rider. No, you don't want nada.
And I want to say this to the television audience. I made my mistakes. People have got to know whether or not their president's a crook. Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
The Wild Wild West.
Yes.
Yo. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
Chilling, man. Hanging out. hanging out.
What
hanging
the
out.
fuck, dude? We're here
I'm
with
I'm just in a silly mood. I'm in a very silly
wacky
mood.
man today.
I'm a wacky man. I'm in a very light mood.
Well,
I just read. Did you ever read Thomas Merton before?
I have read Thomas Merton.
I finished his book, Seven Story Mountain.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
what's it about?
Oh, it's about this guy who becomes a Trappist monk and how his whole journey, like, basically kind of draft dodged, honestly. He was facing World War II, and he was like, maybe
actually,
I
I'm a monk.
will become.
I'm actually a monk.
And he's pretty clear about it. He was like, I was just going to check it out, and they're like, we'll give you one more month to get your affairs in order. And he's like, yeah, monk it is. And his brother went actually and died as a pilot. And he wrote a very beautiful poem for his brother at the end of the book.
Oh, damn.
It was about his like brother's dead body that's just charred up in the middle of some field.
Jesus
Pretty
Christ.
great. It's a beautiful book, though.
Yeah.
Very nice.
He embraced Eastern philosophy
Yeah.
and Buddhism, and he was like the first major religious heavyweight in the West to do that. So that his writings are actually still pretty popular.
Yeah. So either way, that's why I'm in a very light mood. I finished it last
Buoyant.
night.
Thomas Merton has made you buoyant.
It has. He's lifted me above just this absolute terrible society that we're all trapped in.
Well, I'm sure our discussion will bring you back down to earth.
Yeah,
and,
let's talk ditties.
Put you in the seventh circle of Dante's Inferno.
Yeah. So you did a deep dive on the diddler himself.
P. Diddy, yes. You know, it's kind of interesting. I like to stick to facts.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been watching people talk about P. Diddy, and some guy says this, and there's just been this rabid speculation. And then I think I've even seen the Illuminati, that he's part of the Illuminati or something like that.
That's Jay-Z.
And yes. Yeah. And so I decided to take a deep dive into P. Diddy. I got his lawsuits, the 5 lawsuits that were pending against him. I read them. And 2 of those lawsuits were initiated by women who were minors at the time. I mean, he was really into roofing young girls.
Yeah.
And molesting them. And one of the girls that he roofied, he took video of him doing a Bill Cosby on her, and then showed it to a bunch of his friends after. And so he's kind of a nasty piece of work. But all his homes were equipped with hidden cameras.
Yeah. Remind you of anyone?
Yeah, really.
So people are comparing him to Epstein. Now, it's going to be interesting because I believe that he's going to take the fall for a lot.
You think he's going
Yeah,
down?
I think he's going to take the fall for a lot of people because there are, I mean, he was
very unlike Diddy, though. He let Shine go to.
True. Well, actually, that was like almost like a real trial. Yeah. I think this one's going to be very carefully choreographed, and some other, like maybe his sons may go down. I mean, his sons seem to be rapists too. So it's kind of interesting. But where the 2 interconnect, it's kind of, which is what I found out is Damian Williams is the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York. And he was the one that covered up the Epstein trial. Mm-hmm. His district oversaw that investigation, and they only called 4 witnesses. And those victims had only been molested by Epstein and Maxwell. They didn't call any witnesses that were molested by any of the power brokers that Epstein was pandering to.
Is this the original trial where they sealed it, or his most recent one?
No, the last one.
Okay,
actually, Maxwell's trial.
Gotcha.
He was going to prosecute Epstein too, but Epstein, his death kind of precluded that.
True, yeah.
But yes, that trial was totally choreographed, and it was a total fix. I mean, Maxwell should have been indicted on multiple counts of child trafficking. And the procurers should have been indicted. They could have done a RICO with it, where you get the procurers, you indict them on 10 counts of child trafficking. They're looking at 1,000 years. and then they roll over on the big fish. And that did not happen in that case at all. They kept it very tight, and only Maxwell was the one that went down. Now that guy is the guy, and because it's kind of strange that P. Diddy's homes in L.A. and Miami were the ones that were searched, but that search warrant emanated from the Southern District of New York, Damian Williams. So he's taking the helm of the P. Diddy
he's in
case.
control of all. Yeah, that's
And
kind of nuts.
So that's why I know that the fix is in with P. Diddy. But this is also interesting. Damian Williams went to Yale Law School on a grant from the Soroses.
What?
And where it gets a little interesting is Peter Soros, their kid, is in Epstein's black book, and he's circled twice. Now, being circled incriminates you because the house manager who ripped off the black book circled all the people that he thought were in cahoots with Epstein, and Peter Soros is circled twice. So that's kind of a conflict of interest, but I don't think that really matters.
So why are the penalties so low? So she got 20 years, right, for trafficking kids?
Yeah.
Because if you look up, you hear about guys musting kids. They get out a lot of times. Like did you see the Nickelodeon thing?
Yeah.
Well, they would get out
guy,
after like
Pickle
6
Boy?
Yeah, Pickle Boy. They would do.
Pickle
Why?
Boy.
How is the
Free
law
my
set
man,
up?
Pickle Boy, dude. Free
right,
my
dude.
man, Pickle Boy.
Roof him, dude. Put him under the jail, dude.
Yeah, he's back.
How is it that the penalties are only like 6 years for that versus like you would think like
Dude, we watched Zodiac last night. The alleged Zodiac killer,
yeah.
Lee Allen or whatever.
Yeah.
He got in the middle of being the Zodiac, allegedly.
Yeah.
He got arrested working at a school for molesting children. He went to jail for like 3 years.
Yeah, why is the penalty so low for that?
Got out, went right back to writing Zodiac letters and killing people. Anyway, jerk. Yeah, you get like 10 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I have no idea why the law is set up that way. You would think, like, I would say, like, who would you rather live next to, and that should be the law. How long you go to jail for? Pedophiles, 100 years. 100
Well, I
years.
mean, it's
that's a-
not 4.
it's a 15 to life sentence. So I'm sure that if you're living in a trailer park and you molest a girl, that they'll put you away for life.
Yeah.
But it's a little different with the people that run our world, I guess.
Or it's a life sentence to live with your mom. I think that's the life sentence. Life sentence, your mother's basement for the rest of your life.
Yeah, you gotta go home.
I would off myself
grounded.
before that happened.
You just get grounded, I guess, if you're a pedophile. But yeah, that's crazy. Maxwell was like, she was famous for it. You'd think they'd make an example out of her for a long time. You were saying she's in a dormitory now?
She's in a dormitory. And the dormitories are generally for people that have done time and been exemplary prisoners and are about to get out. But she's right in a dormatory now. So
Crazy.
And she got how many years?
she got 20 years.
Do you think how many of those do you think she's serving?
Well, in the Fed system, I mean, not that this is going to really count.
Yeah.
In the Fed system, you've got to do 85% of your time. So she should end up doing like 27 years or 17 years.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, she kept her mouth shut, and she's got a lot of money that's waiting for her. And I think that was kind of the deal. This is just my opinion. My surmise is
Yeah.
they sat Maxwell down. They said, Ghislaine, you've done some really good stuff for us. You've enabled us to blackmail a lot of people. But, if you keep your mouth shut, you won't end up like Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, you're going to have to do some time,
Yeah.
but then you're going to have lots of money when you get out.
Yeah, maybe she'll have her own like Target line. She'll have like home goods Target line. Buy Ghislaine Maxwell.
I was thinking, I don't know if Target would stoop that. Maybe Walmart should have her own Walmart line. I'm a Minnesotan, and Target began in Minnesota,
True,
so
true.
I have kind of a
My bad.
special affinity
Excuse
for.
me.
Although what's kind of strange is I think Walmart and Target are kind of a jump ball, but as far as like quality and service and things like that. But people in New York actually have Target bags. It's almost chic to have like a Target bag. I've never ever seen a Walmart bag. Someone using a Walmart bag in New York.
Yeah, They'll walk around. Usually they're homeless if they're walking
Yeah,
around
if
with
you got the
Walmart
Walmart bag, things
That
aren't
is
going
not.
well.
Yeah, that's not a Louis Vuitton purse by any means.
Well, actually, I saw a homeless guy in New York a couple of weeks ago. He had like 8 Target bags. So,
So he was doing well.
homeless chic. Yeah.
Well, so the Diddy thing, you think Diddy's go? I wonder. I don't think Diddy thinks he's gonna go down.
Where do you get that?
I just think about it because it's like they were saying like, well, they were like he could just flee the country, but I was like, I don't think he thinks he's gonna.
Somebody just told me that. They're like, Matt said he doesn't think he's going down. I was like, hey, is Matt fucking talking to him?
No, I'm just saying like because otherwise you think he would flee, but if he's, I don't know.
I think he is. I think the boys got him.
He invented the remix, dude. You think he's not going down?
Now that's a valid point.
Because otherwise he has the means to. He's a flight risk. He could take off.
I would think that there's a eye in the sky on P. Diddy. At
You
this
think
point.
it's like okay, that makes
I think
sense.
the people that raided his house are
Yeah, true.
pretty powerful.
True.
I think they got a good location on that guy.
Yeah.
They're like, we know you got blackmail stuff. That's what I heard. I heard they raided the house to get the.
the blackmail material.
Yeah.
I mean, the same thing happened with Epstein, where they drilled his safe and they pulled out hundreds of DVDs.
What?
And I've done freedom of information requests on. I didn't, of course, want the DVDs because who knows, what licentious, nefarious things they're filled with. But I did ask for reports on the DVDs.
I've been having a tough time getting Pornhub down here. I might need the Epstein DVDs.
The box set.
Box set, dude. Get the portable DVD player going in the bathroom.
Well, if I ever get the DVDs, I'll
Toss me the good ones. Toss me the good ones.
So
Yeah, scrub the bad stuff. And
Get rid of the bad stuff.
it's kind of funny. When Epstein died, the Fed said the case was closed.
Yeah.
So then I put in a FOIA for the reports, and then they said the case is ongoing.
Oh, really?
And then I did it again. I don't know, about 3 months ago, and then again they said the case is ongoing. I mean, the guy's in the ground and rotting,
Yeah,
but the case is
true.
ongoing. So
Trying to see that Stephen Hawking. I'm trying to see
I
him
want to see Stephen
thunderclap.
Hawking fucking
that would have been tough.
reverse
I think.
forward, reverse forward. Just
Back that thing up, dude.
Maybe-
back it up, Terry.
Hawkins might know some stuff about physics that we don't have a clue about.
True.
So, yeah,
True.
You never know.
Sexually, he could
With
Yeah,
Hawkins.
get a little wormhole going.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So he got. So Diddy, I know who was implicated in Diddy's was Cuba Gooding Jr. got hit pretty hard. Everyone thinks Meek Mill was involved just because he was like, they named basically his circumstances. But what was like the worst one? Because I knew he had the case against Cassie. That you're saying he had the underage people. Then
Well,
there
it was
the
Little Rod.
producer. Little Rod. That was
Yeah,
the most
that
fascinating
was,
one.
That was the last one. And
Yeah.
Little Rod, I mean, it's kind of interesting because they've done 3 addendums. His attorneys have done 3 addendums to his initial statement. And each one is getting more salacious and nefarious.
Because the first one was pretty bad. That was
The
Was Little
first one-
Rod with Cuba Gooding?
What's that?
Yeah.
Was he the one that
Yeah.
Cuba got?
Yeah.
Cuba got him.
More like Cuba batting.
Sure.
If you ask me.
It's kind of interesting on that link that I sent you. It's
Come on, this is all I got.
the link that I sent you. It was Diddy and his kid Justin took a rapper. We only know the guy's name is G, and took him into the bathroom, and then multiple shots rang out. And
Yeah.
then the door opened, and G just happened to be bleeding from his abdomen, and Diddy told Jones, don't say I had anything to do with this, and I got to leave and take
Yeah.
off. And then Jones was taken out. It was at Diddy's studio. Jones taken out of the studio, and the cops were called. And I've got a news article that says that G was shot outside the studio. But Jones took pictures of the bathroom.
Of the blood in the bathroom.
And
I saw that.
There's a bunch of blood in the bathroom. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that shooting people, that's probably against the law too. It's hard.
Yeah, he's.
But Diddy's head of security, Fahim Muhammad, he was head of security for Michael Jackson. So there's a dude that knows how to keep secrets. And according to Jones, he's a fixer. He's really tied into the LAPD. And what's really interesting with that is, Michael Jackson was getting drugs, prescription drugs from all over, and he was using pseudonyms like Josephine Baker, and I think Jack London was one of them. But then Fahim Muhammad's name is right there as far as one of the people that was providing Jackson with drugs, and nothing happened to Muhammad. The doctor had some problems that was prescribing them, but nothing happened to Fahim Muhammad. So, and Jones maintains that he's like a superlative adept fixer, that he's got connections in the LAPD that can make, he said, that can make either problems or people go away.
Damn. I think Diddy got too pumped on Empire. I think that might have been what happened. He might have watched Empire
good
too many
show,
times.
dude.
Freaked out.
Shoot a guy in the stomach in front of your son. Like, this is our empire. Dude.
Well, the
This is how I hold
son's
it down.
busted. I heard the son is like for sure getting busted on one of the things.
last lawsuit is against the son.
Yeah.
And it was Diddy rented a yacht, and some woman said that she had been molested. That the woman, Diddy's implicated because the woman said that Diddy set up a environment where these workers were going to get molested, and this woman,
Put him on a yacht.
put him on a yacht. There's
the
no way to
implication.
go.
Yeah.
It's the implication.
Damn. Well, Diddy's going down. You heard it first. I didn't know. I was like, maybe they don't have enough solid stuff on him. So just a lot of it is like a lot of hearsay. But yeah, it seems like he's gonna go to jail. He's gonna go there.
I think he's getting
Kells,
Epstein.
Kells is out, but Kells, Diddy. Damn. Think he's gonna get killed?
Yeah, probably, right? If he does
I don't know. They're going to probably give him the Ghislaine Maxwell talk. Well, did some bad things. And it all depends upon who he's compromising people for. Because there's enough information that his homes had hidden cameras, that I actually believe that his homes had hidden cameras. So I just don't think that he was blackmailing people for himself.
Yeah.
Now, what's really interesting is the guy that he started Bad Boy Records with is Clive Davis. Mm-hmm. And Clive Davis has an interesting criminal history. He was charged with not paying his taxes in 71, 72, and 73. He was head of CBS Records. And he was busted embezzling $94,000 from CBS Records. And the guy that he was using was a Genovese crime family named Pasquale Falcone. And how they intersected with, this is kind of interesting, how they intersected with Davis is Falcone was smuggling 22 pounds of heroin into the United States. And then they started looking at Falcone, and then they saw that he was doing these illegalities with Clive Davis. And then he also shelled out $250,000 for payola. That's giving kickbacks to radio stations, which is totally illegal. Yeah. But he did all these things, Clive Davis, he did all these things, and he walked. The dude never spent a day in jail.
Oh, then he teamed up with the Diddler. That makes sense.
And then he came out with the Diddler.
The feds said,
yeah, that was the connection.
we need you. We need the Diddler.
Damn.
So you've got it's an interesting alchemy right now with P. Diddy. You've got his head of security, who is a fixer, who knows how to keep secrets about child abuse. You've got Clive Davis, who has been busted on innumerable things and felonies and not spend a day in jail. And then you've got a U.S. attorney that likes to cover up child abuse. So it's a pretty interesting alchemy to see how those things all turn out.
What do you think about Jay-Z? Nothing on him yet at all?
There's a lot of innuendo about this person or that person. Like Diddy says when he was sued by his girlfriend Cassandra, Cassie Ventura. According to Jones, he says, well, I've got enough leverage on Bishop T.D. Jakes to get him to go to bat for me and say I'm a good guy and nice guy. And, now, Bishop T.D. Jakes, he's got a real estate empire. I mean, he's got a mega church in Dallas, but he's got like a real estate empire. And now, one person on Twitter said that he's gay. So then the next thing, everybody in the news
That's
saying,
pretty good, though.
yeah,
If
and
you
he's
only
got and he's blackmailing TD Jakes because he likes little boys,
Yeah.
or whatever. So
One guy calling you gay on Twitter. That might be the straightest guy on earth.
and the person said, well, it's right there on Twitter.
Yeah.
So now here's a guy that's worth millions of dollars, and he just did a deal with Wells Fargo that could be up to $1 billion in housing. So, and he's a preacher, which his being a media mogul and also a real estate baron, it seems a little at odds with preaching. I mean, not when you get to the evangelical side and you're on television, I guess not.
Yeah, mega church mega churches are like basically businesses and stuff where you can, you just get a guy and be like, yo, fund me. I'm going to start 10 more of these things.
I got to meet Jim and Tammy Baker once. Not really the highlight of my life, but it was interesting. A friend of mine was an Herbalife distributor, and the feds busted him.
What? For what?
Dispensing Herbalife, marijuana.
Oh, he wasn't actually Herbalife, yeah.
This is before, I used to call it Herbalife. Now, but that reference is kind of lost.
He used to dispense Herbalife.
There was actually something called Herbalife.
I benefited financially.
There was actually something called Herbalife, but you guys are too young to know about that. When you get old and crusty like me, there's a lot of references there.
I remember Herbalife. The guys, there was this couple that would stand in the back of the church, and they had pins that said "Lose weight now, ask me how," and they would stand in the back of the church.
At Catholic church? Yeah. Get them out of there. They're selling their wares.
I know. I almost flipped. If they had tables, I would
flip
flip
the
them.
tables.
But yeah, it was this couple, and they had the guy with like a skinny guy with a mustache and the lady with 80s hair, and they were just standing in the back, and they looked great. I'll be honest. They were both
good.
looking pretty slender.
Yeah.
So a buddy of mine,
Pre-Instagram. You had to just go stand in public and go,
Lose
I
weight
know
now."
secrets. There's secret drugs you can take. Everything will be better.
It was just a veteran, probably. Yeah.
try crystal meth.
Yeah.
You lose
An
weight.
herbal life together, you will lose weight. So I was visiting a buddy of mine in the federal prison in Rochester, Minnesota, which is kind of like a club fed. A lot of mafia guys end up there, and when you visit someone, at least in this prison, they put you in a little group and then they escort you across this courtyard. And I was in the same group as Tammy Faye, and she looked like she does when she's live. She looks like maybe an Avon train wreck or something like that. I mean, she's definitely putting on her makeup with a trowel.
Yeah.
And I wondered why Jim Baker got. He was originally like 100 years or something. I mean, it was appealed and got knocked down, and she got nothing. But when I met them both, so I was talking to my buddy, and
what they did, they were like a mega. What do they do?
well, they had a mega church, and
they got arrested.
Well, he got arrested for embezzling and all kinds of other things. Right. And he was building like a born again. Damn. Yeah, there we go. There's
it's like a secretary from the Drew Carey show.
Yeah, it really is, dude. It's exactly that. That's crazy. Cleveland rocks.
So I was visiting my buddy, and then she came and sat next to Jim, and I was sitting next to my buddy, and he had this sinister grin on his face. I mean, there was something kind of malignant about him. And what I felt about Tammy was, if you wanted to go to the bathroom, you had to go up to like this desk, and they'd give you a key, and then, and I watched her go up to this desk, and the only thing I could think of, and I'm not trying to be disparaging here,
sure.
but the only thing I could think of is she's really a fucked up person. I mean, that's really what I felt.
Honest.
I mean, and he's sinister. And now he's got his own evangelical show again.
Oh, he got out, and now he's back to
Yeah.
the same thing. So what was her deal, though? Was she there just to visit him?
To
Was it
visit
like
him,
a-
yeah.
had
And
to
she
dump out.
ultimately,
Yeah.
Just dumped out some Herbalife.
Did they get conjugals? Did he get conjugals in there? Maybe he was smiling. 'cause he was about to get
conjugals
some
got.
pussy.
I don't think there's any more conjugals left.
They don't do
at
that
this
anymore?
point. Not that I'm aware of. I
That's
mean,
too
of course, prisoners have their own conjugal thing.
True.
But
True that.
of a certain stripe. But well, so Jim Bakker's got his own show now, and you would think with all that scandal, and I was also told that Jim, I probably shouldn't say this because it is derogatory and defaming, but I was told that Jim spent a lot of time on his knees when he was in prison.
Really?
Praying.
Yeah.
Damn, who told you that?
Some people that were that did time with him.
Damn.
So
Probably, I mean, his enthusiasm was probably great.
True.
so now that I know these,
You got to take it out. Come out of this.
so now that I know these
demon
things
out of
about
this
Jim,
Just anointing himself with the chrism, dude.
Running around after he gets the facial.
That is insane. I mean, again, I know what you're saying. You don't want to implicate yourself in any kind of negative smearing, but as just a joke, it's very funny for a mega church pastor to just be pulling it out of guys in prison.
well,
Say your name, demons.
Be out.
Be gone from this man. Oh, oh Lord. Oh.
mega church pastors get into a lot of those problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all freaks.
Yeah, it's and I feel sorry for the people that believe in them and then ultimately end up giving them tons of money. And
Yeah.
there was an article. It was either Time or Newsweek did an article because Jim Bakker would go out with all these prostitutes, and then he would have them do stuff, and
Yeah.
you know and there was one prostitute that said, I've got 2 kids, and I wouldn't let them near that guy. So, and here he
Damn.
is preaching to millions of people every Sunday.
Really? She was like, he was too,
I guess he's got some aberrations.
yeah, some requests.
Time magazine and or Newsweek, I can't remember which one, really didn't delineate on those aberrations, but I think that we can, from the anecdote that I've told you about is stay in prison, I think we can maybe
Yes,
extrapolate
True.
well.
Yeah. Probably some.
All right, so final thoughts on the diddler?
I think he's going to go down. But here's the thing. Diddy just didn't have musician friends, but he was plugged into politics, not quite like Epstein.
Vote or
but,
die.
But
Oh,
even-
yeah, I forgot about
Yeah, he was old. He was, yeah.
Yeah, true.
and he also had a lot of sports people too. So going to he had regular parties and then he had what he called freak off parties.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see if any other people are going to go down. And the feds can be very persuasive. I mean, they can say, Diddy, you made a lot of money. I mean, we can take it all
Yeah, true.
and put you away for 1 million years, and then, or else you can go gently into that good night and you can keep your money and we won't arrest half your family.
Damn.
I wrote a book called Confessions of a DC Madam, and it was about a guy who ran a gay escort service in Washington, D.C., and there was a CIA asset that would use his escorts to frame closeted guys. It was a blackmail operation. And here's the guy, he was a mortician. And
Sucks. Just being a guy fucking a gay prostitute and then be like, gotcha. And be like, fuck. We filmed you.
That would for real.
So with Henry, he was a mortician, but he was raised in the southern corner of West Virginia, where people, preach with snakes and things like that. And so Henry moved to DC, and he'd been closeted this whole time. And then through a weird set of circumstances, he bought an gay escort service. And from a guy that was dying. And Henry is really brilliant as far as a marketer. So what he did is he opened up the yellow pages and he started calling all the escort services, which are generally fly-by-night operations. And if the phone was disconnected, he'd call up the telephone company and he'd say, I'll pay for the arrears. So he ended up with like half the escorts in the DC yellow
True
pages.
arrears.
True, yeah.
Rear enders. Butt sex.
So his dying friend was like, "Yo, I'll sell you. I'll get a fire
it was
sale
actually
on a stable full
it
of
was someone
gay
he
men."
met who was like a gay version of the Chippendales. Introduced him to this guy. So, and he just and there was a guy. Okay, so with Henry. Now, here's a guy that was running a gay escort service. I mean, all he was doing is running a gay escort service.
Yeah.
I mean,
And he was gay too. You said he was gay in the
gay.
closet, and then
Yeah.
he bought.
He's an innocuous guy. He's a very
Sure.
gentle guy, very quiet, unassuming. I mean,
Yeah, gay.
you would never know that.
I know,
if you
yeah.
just met him, you'd never know
Sure,
the kind of
sure.
history he had. So he was indicted on 46 RICO counts.
Damn.
So he was looking at 395 years in prison. And this is what the feds said to him. Henry, we've used your escorts to compromise a lot of guys, and we appreciate that. And we're going to make a deal with you. We can put you away for 295 years with all these RICO indictments.
Yeah.
Or
And that's in gay years or regular guy years? That's like 20 in regulars straight.
so they said, Henry, we'll give you a consolation prize. You keep your mouth shut and we'll only put you away for 5 years.
Whoa.
So he took the deal. But he was totally sold down the river by his attorney, who was Greta Van Susteren. I mean, what she did to him was pretty egregious.
What'd she do?
She basically sold him out to the government. Anything that the government wanted to do,
It sucks.
she allowed them to do. And she's a Scientologist. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
Damn, dude.
But she got Henry to go to like Scientology boot camp and get cleared. He actually, if
got clear?
Once you're cleared, you get a blue cake, and then Henry actually got a blue cake. But then he had to go back and get sentenced, and
Oh, he got clear before he went to jail.
yeah, he had some time.
Got blue cakied.
He got
He had some time to get cleared before he went to prison.
That's cool.
But that's what happened with him, is that he was made that deal, and I can see Diddy being made that deal.
Got you. That makes sense. He's gonna, the power brokers will.
Yeah.
I mean, how about people just stop being sexually impious, and we wouldn't have these problems.
Speak for yourself.
I think in this day and age, that's kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, well, I feel like now they can just grab the web history off people. They can just snag your Pornhubs and be like, yo.
I'm really glad that I was a wild kid in my youth. And I'm really glad that smartphones weren't around in my
Yeah,
youth. And YouTube wasn't around, or else I don't know if I'd be able to be a journalist, a respected journalist today. I mean, not that I'm not respected, but I'm somewhat respected.
You're on this podcast, that's pretty good.
True. Yeah, no,
This is
being
where all the
plugged in,
respected journalists go.
being plugged into phone porn from 12 is like pretty wild.
Yeah, I've been reading about that. It severely messes kids up. That
Yeah, I would think.
Yeah, Gardini's young.
Yeah, Gardini's
He's
victim.
an absolute deviant.
But then the thing about Pornhub is they've been busted like nearly 120 times with minors. I mean, you would think that they'd get shut down after 10 or 20 or 30 or something.
Putting out vids of minors, basically. Or just like child labor laws, like having like data entry.
And actually, there's been some girls that were minors that have sued Pornhub.
Oh, from their stuff being out. Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
Everyone has to upload their ID, dude. That's what they do in Texas now. You have to upload your driver's license.
Yeah, I read about that.
I like that.
Not
Yeah,
necessarily a bad idea.
Obviously, probably a good thing, but
Yeah, it's fair.
it's dampening my jacks.
Yeah.
It's put a real damper on my jacks. You just go on and you're immediately reminded of child sex. You're like, oh.
Yeah, true. You go. What do they
Yeah,
say?
I
Like,
jack off to that. I don't need thumbnails anymore. I jack off to the
the
governor's warning. I go, oh my God, this is bad.
there's so much porn behind this.
That's innovative.
Yeah,
Or you just end up jacking off to your own license. Like, fuck it.
this is a crazy photo. It doesn't even look like me.
You know, the thing about it is, I'm sure you've got narcissists out there that do that.
I mean, yeah, especially your license photo. That'd be crazy.
All right, I think
that's supreme confidence.
We need to make the move, dude. We need to discuss the truth about Watergate.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on here?
The Truth About Watergate, that's my last book. Everything that you know about Watergate, the vast majority of it is a lie.
So Forrest Gump didn't break it up?
He played only a minor role in Watergate. It's interesting. What happened with Watergate, and there's been some really great books written about Watergate, but they're tomes, and they're very, very complex. And it's hard. I mean, you have to kind of study them. So my goal was to be the unified field theory of Watergate revisionist books. And what happened with Nixon is Nixon decided to do strategic arm limitation talks with the Soviets. And he also started to open up China for diplomacy, rapprochement. And he was doing this behind the backs of the CIA, the Department of Defense, and actually the State Department. And on his first or second day, Nixon didn't like the CIA, and because he felt that the CIA sabotaged him with when he ran against JFK in 1960. So Nixon, it was, I think, National Security Memorandum 2 was some kind of innocuous document that he issued his first or second day, where he said that the CIA, the Department of Defense, and the State Department will have no input whatsoever in any of my geopolitical moves. Basically, he was telling those three bodies just to go to hell, and he was going to do his own thing. And then he started making contact with the Russians, and then he started making contact with the Chinese. He'd been a Cold Warrior, and he saw that that wasn't working. He saw that containment wasn't working. And he just saw that we were spending all this money, and he just realized it wasn't, it just wasn't prudent. It would never work. So he started to do this, and then the Joint Chiefs of Staff actually had an espionage ring against Nixon. It's called the Moore-Radford affair. Thomas Moore was head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. He was an admiral, and they used Moore and they used Radford, who was a yeoman. That was the link between, because he was using the National Security Council, Nixon was, to do all these moves, and Radford was the liaison between the Joint Chiefs and the National Security Staff. So Radford was stealing all these documents, and Alexander Haig was in on it too. And actually Haig plays a role in the demise of Nixon. So Haig was enabling Radford to steal all these documents.
Who's Haig?
Alexander Haig is, he's a general. He was the Joint Chiefs of, he was Nixon's chief of staff, and then he was ultimately the overall leader of NATO.
Oh, I would love to see.
And he's from Philadelphia.
Awesome.
Oh, nice.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's from Philadelphia.
Damn.
Go Birds.
So the Joint Chiefs started this espionage ring against Nixon, but the Nixon administration outed the espionage ring.
Oh, they found out.
Yeah. So then the CIA started to infiltrate the Nixon administration, kind of like Scarface at the end of the movie, where he's double-crossed the Bolivian drug dealer, and all those assassins are coming. Okay, so that's what the CIA did to the Nixon administration. I mean, they just started inundating the Nixon administration from all different types of angles. And what's interesting about Watergate, it's a conspiracy within a conspiracy. Because McCord and Hunt, who are the two guys that were busted in Watergate, their goal was to take down Nixon. They wanted to take down Nixon. And but there were two agendas at work. And this is actually my third book on sexual political blackmail, because at the heart of Watergate is a CIA sexual honey trap. And what's really interesting, so the burglars broke into Watergate, and there was a secretary from the Democratic National Committee named Maxie Wells. She kept photos of prostitutes in her desk under lock and key. And if you were a Democratic VIP, you would go there and take a look, and then these girls would be at the Columbia Plaza, which was a high-class apartment building. And the CIA had had video or film or whatever.
So you would just walk into this lady's office and she'd be like, check out these ladies.
I mean, I'm sure that there was some kind of secret handshake or code or something like that.
Gotcha.
Probably like, hey, I'd like a hooker. Is there one around? So
Do you think these girls are pretty?
So John, the woman that ran that escort
I hear the
service.
cherry blossoms are beautiful this time of year. Oh, yes, they are. Yes, Senator.
I don't know if there was a lot of cherries at that.
Oh, yeah.
But
The cherries are gone.
I think cherries have been gone a long time. But so John Dean's wife, Maureen Dean, was good friends of Heidi Reichen, who ran that escort service, that CIA compromise escort. And actually, G. Gordon Liddy said that she was part of that escort service. And he was sued, but he managed to win it. The first was a hung jury, but then he won the second trial. But anyway, so one of the burglars, Eugenio Martinez, had a key to the desk where the pictures were taken,
Oh, no.
where the pictures were kept. And when they got busted, their photograph equipment was on her desk. So, but then there was another, so that was the first conspiracy, and that was initiated by...
Sorry, when he used the key, did he get rid of those pictures and they were never
No,
found?
no.
what was he doing?
He got busted before he could even get into the desk.
Okay.
I mean, they were on them really quickly, and he tried to get rid of the key. He got the shit kicked out of him twice by Carl Schaffler. Who was
Fucking Schaffler.
Carl Schaffler was the cop that was notified that the Watergate break-in was going down.
Why was he trying to take the pictures of the naked ladies?
I think that they wanted to take as many
Compromise the
pictures.
Democrats, or-
Pictures of whatever documentation, women, anything that they possibly could.
And this was a CIA guy stealing the ladies?
Okay, so
Yeah, let's...
I'm confused.
Hold on.
The lady's name was, what was the wife's name again?
Maureen Dean, John
Maureen
Dean's
Dean.
wife.
Gotcha.
Who's John Dean?
Okay, so John Dean was counsel to the president,
Okay.
and he was the guy that supposedly saw that that the Nixon administration was awash in moral turpitude and corruption.
Gotcha.
And he's the guy, he had a book called, it's actually a great piece of fiction. It's called Blind Ambition. And he was the guy that turned on Nixon in the Nixon administration. And then ultimately it was Nixon's word against Dean's word. But there's quotes or there's tapes of Nixon talking about Dean and Dean lying. I mean, Dean, he's a snaky guy. Mm-hmm. And Maureen Dean was very, very attractive. And John Dean, well, but she was good friends with Heidi Reichen. And what's really interesting is a number of people have thought that she was working as a prostitute for Heidi Reichen, or working with Heidi Reichen, running her prostitute gig. And now, John Dean's book was Blind Ambition, and Maureen Dean was Watergate, A Woman's Journey. And they both say that they met in L.A., that Maureen Dean was living in L.A. when they met. And then they had a torrid romance, and then Maureen Dean flew to Washington, and then that was it. She moved in with John Dean. Mm-hmm. But I found an article in the Washington Post where it's talking about her working for the government before that. So either they're lying in their books or the Washington Post is lying, because it's out of the, if you take that chronology in the Washington Post, it's because people have said Maureen Dean was a hooker, but it never made any sense to me because she flew back to Washington, D.C., and she lived with John Dean. She didn't need to be a hooker to make money. But according to the Washington Post, she was already in Washington, D.C. when she met John Dean. So with that timeline, it's definitely feasible that she could have been a hooker with Heidi Reichen. And plus, her and Heidi Reichen were very good friends. That's pretty much proven.
Gotcha. So what did they actually nail him for? So you're saying that Nixon, if I'm right or wrong, but I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but it's like Nixon's people had this prostitution thing going on, and they tried to expose that, and then he caught them trying to do
Okay,
that.
so what happened was Nixon didn't know anything.
He didn't know it was okay.
He didn't know anything about any
That's
of
kind of
this.
my question.
And actually, the top people in the Nixon administration didn't know about Watergate. They knew nothing about Watergate. And it was Jeb Magruder, who was the acting chairman of the committee to reelect the president. And it was John Dean that sent them in there to the Watergate.
And they were, the story I was always, they were just in there to steal, what, Democrat, like, political plans?
Well, dirt.
They were just in there to get dirt on the
Dirt. The
Democrats.
second time, the first time, actually, there were two break-ins. The first time was dirt, or the first time was, any kind of documentation, but the second time was definitely dirt.
Okay.
I mean, that's why they had the key to Maxie Wells' death.
Yes. But
Now-
if they were in there to get dirt, why would, I thought they were against Nixon,
Well,
a lot of those guys.
No, they were CIA guys.
Yeah.
All those guys were CIA except for G. Gordon Liddy, the crazy one, but they were all CIA. So the overt plan to get it for them was to get dirt. The plan that Magruder and Dean told them to do was to get dirt. Now, there was a second agenda going on there. Those CIA guys, McCord and Hunt, had infiltrated the Nixon administration, like those assassins in Scarface. And their goal was to get Nixon out of office. And they had the opportunity because that was that whole thing was a setup. McCord really hated Nixon, and Hunt didn't like him at all. And just to make sure, they're
going to steal him out of the office?
What's that?
So they're going to kidnap him, steal him out of the office. So how are they going to do it, though? Are they just going to, like, plant something or just, like, look for bad
Or
stuff?
just intentionally get caught?
They were just going to see how it went
sure.
out. But then there's the media side of it, too, which I can get into a little bit later. But with the CIA guys, they wanted... The burglars were they were Cubans that had worked with the CIA before. But Hunt and McCord were actual agents.
Gotcha.
Now, they were ostensibly retired, but they weren't. In the book, I show that they're still working with the CIA. So the goal of Dean and Magruder was to get dirt on the Democrats. And some people have speculated that Dean wanted those pictures because his wife was in those pictures. I don't know, but that's what people have speculated. But the CIA guys, that was not their goal. Their goal was to incriminate Nixon. And so at the Watergate, the Democratic National Committee was on the 6th floor. And on the 8th floor was the Federal Reserve Committee or whatever it was, Federal Reserve. And now someone had broken into the Federal Reserve about a month before the first Watergate burglary. And the McCord really tried hard to get busted. So at about midnight, 6 guys in suits signed into the Watergate at midnight and went up to the 8th floor, signed in for the Federal Reserve. But the security guard was like, I think he probably had the IQ of an avocado. He couldn't figure that out at all. So the second time they went in, there was a guy named Baldwin, and he called the DC police. And Carl Schaffler was he was a DC policeman, but he'd also worked for intelligence, probably a little bit of both. And he was a block and a half away. And then when the call came in, they went right to the Watergate, and then and then they got busted. And Nixon, the thing with, so those were the two, it was a conspiracy within a conspiracy. The overt conspiracy was to get dirt, and then the CIA's conspiracy, the covert conspiracy, was to get Nixon.
And you're saying Nixon didn't even know about the
Nixon, no.
get dirt plan?
Didn't have a clue. None of those guys did. And that's what they were calling each other. And they go, who sent these guys in? Because Nixon was way ahead of McGovern. I mean, he walloped McGovern. It was going to be probably the biggest landslide up to that point. Reagan's
Up till 2024.
True. Why did he get in trouble for people breaking in though? I don't understand.
What's that?
Why was he? Why? So he got in trouble.
so
for
we're
somebody
Nixon-
Yeah,
breaking
they sent Watergate was just they sent people into the Democratic committee to steal shit. That's what he got impeached
He got
for.
blamed for that.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. That was the how it was portrayed,
Okay, that makes sense. So that's,
and that's what Nixon left office for. Hit the fucking
hit
No,
on
but
that side,
what
on that.
happened, what he left office for was obstruction of justice. Because Nixon, I mean, you listen to the tapes of these guys and they're going like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, who ordered those guys to break in? Now, Magruder and Dean, who ordered them to break in, kept quiet. So those guys had no idea.
Damn. So there was just like 9 burglars in the building, and everyone was
Yeah.
Spider-Man out.
But Nixon, his natural instinct was to cover it up. I mean, he didn't know why anybody broke into the office, or he didn't know some of the other crazy stuff that these guys had done.
Yeah.
But it was just his political instinct to cover it up.
Gotcha.
And that's where he
Makes
got
sense.
busted. Is he tried to use the CIA, and the CIA double-crossed him. He tried to use the CIA because the FBI launched this investigation, and they found leads to the Nixon administration because of Hunt and McCord. And he tried to get the CIA to play their national security guard to stop the FBI. Now, Richard Helm was head of the CIA at that point, and him and Nixon hated each other. When there would be a cabinet briefing or a National Security Council briefing, Helms was allowed to brief the cabinet members or the National Security Council, but then after that, he had to leave. I mean, Nixon had overt, they really hated each other. Now, Richard Helms said, no, we're not going to cover it up. But then Nixon said something about the Kennedy assassination. And actually, there's tapes where Nixon is grilling Helms. Who shot John? Who shot John? And so Nixon leveraged them with the Kennedy assassination.
Oh wow.
And then Helms said, okay, we'll do it. But he didn't. So, and actually the CIA provided more incriminating evidence against Nixon. But Nixon didn't know any of this stuff. All these machinations were just going on below the surface.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I had no idea. I thought he got like in trouble for like stealing stuff. I didn't know what happened. I thought like, he actually just stole stuff and got busted and was like, my bad.
I'm not a crook, dude.
Yeah, I'm not a crook.
It's the thing is, if Dean and Magruder hadn't ordered those break-ins, then Nixon would have.
That's what was tied to his, to
Yeah,
get those
would've been-
pictures
And
of their wives, their hot wives.
Damn.
Their hot wife and they got busted. We gotta get those naked pictures of our hot prostitute wives out of there. Shit's about to go down.
well, at least they were
naked wives.
adults. I mean, I got to give them that much. You know?
What?
They were adults.
True.
I mean,
Yeah, true. Yeah.
By today's standards, that was
by
was
today's
above
standard,
board.
yeah.
Yeah, that was actually very nice of them. Very chivalrous.
So they wanted Nixon out because he was trying to chill out on the Cold War.
Well, he was befriending the communists.
Yeah.
And the Hawks and the CIA and the Department of Defense hated the communists.
Nixon's always portrayed in like modern, every movie's in. He's like a war hawk. Like he's always like, we need to nuke them now.
Yeah. Well,
Meanwhile, he was trying to de-escalate.
yes, big time. And he even told the Soviets that he was willing to relinquish Vietnam.
Didn't it end under his administration?
Yeah, Vietnam War?
Yeah.
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 I mean, he bombed the shit out of the Vietnamese
Yeah.
before he did
He
that.
gave that a shot.
But Nixon is kind of split personality. So he really worked hard to do a arms deal with the Soviets because he saw the nuclear escalation. And actually, he cut defense by 64% in his administration. And he did some positive, like OSHA, and he wanted to give health care for everybody, all Americans. He enacted some, the Environmental Protection Agency. I mean, that was also a Nixon initiative. He did do some good things. Now we just look at him as evil incarnate. But but it was, so what was really interesting about this is Woodward and Bernstein were essentially the guys that the two reporters that brought him down. And they're the most pathological liars of probably anybody in the entire Watergate saga. It's really interesting. And Ben Bradley was the editor of the Washington Post, and he was a CIA guy too. So, and Woodward was also a CIA guy. Bernstein just wanted money for nothing and chicks for free. I mean, he blew all his money on prostitutes and coke. And he had a tough time after that. But
Bernstein.
And so what's fascinating, I mean, people think that those two are like the Mount Rushmore of journalism. And I mean, what's amazing about them is they're telling lies when they don't even need to lie. I mean, a lot of time they need to lie, and I understand that, but they're telling lies when they don't even need to lie. It's kind of amazing.
What were some of their most like egregious lies?
Deep Throat. Okay, Deep Throat was the guy that gave Woodward all the dirt on Nixon to take him down. Mm-hmm. Now,
Why did he call himself Deep Throat, by the way?
What's that?
Why did he call
That
himself
was
Deep
back
Throat?
before it was really fucking. It really was. I remember even as a kid being like, "Why do they call him Deep Throat?" I don't like that. Didn't they make a porn like
Well,
right
there was-
away?
there was-
That like popularized.
Did it really?
That
Yeah.
being like that's
That's
sexual.
Deep Throat.
Yeah.
There was a very popular porn movie called Deep Throat, and that's what Woodward.
Oh, he just named himself after it. That's pretty sick.
Oh, he named himself after it.
Well, he named his source Deep Throat.
Oh, okay.
Was the porn out before he named it Deep Throat?
The
or did
porn,
the porn come from
the
Deep
porn
Throat?
was out, and then there was a Supreme Court battle over it, and then the porn, and then it was
okay.
back in. I
Damn.
believe by the time.
My political name would have to be Thick Latina Mommies.
The source, Thick Latina Mommy, is here. He's here to give us all his secrets.
Amateur Latino Mommies.
Stepmom Stuck is here.
Yes, the dossier. So he
Girlfriend
named himself.
Experience. Girlfriend Experience is here.
Stuck is here. He named himself after a porn. That's crazy.
All right,
No,
so
no,
Deep-
he didn't. Woodward named him.
He named him
after
after his
Woodward's
favorite porn.
Fucking sick ass.
That's crazy.
That's fucked up. If I was Deep Throat, I'd be like, what the fuck?
Because he was briefing other agents. They'd be like, my source, Deep Throat. Like, all right, dude.
And Deep Throat hid his identity, right? So
Totally
you
hid his identity.
You can't be like, dude, stop calling me Deep Throat. you just have to be like, fuck, I'm Deep Throat now.
What if you briefed all the other guys? You'd be
Yeah.
like, well, Deep Throat. They'd be reading the thing like, dude, can you stop calling him Deep Throat, please? Mr. Blue is fine.
Yeah, Mr. Blue works.
But they rolled out a guy named Mark Felt who was severely impaired by Alzheimer's and said this
shit.
was Deep Throat.
Yes.
And actually, I think Deep Throat was a composite. I think that Woodward was getting. I mean, Woodward's tapped into intelligence. He was naval intelligence.
Okay, so I'm sorry, for everybody that's not familiar with Watergate, Deep Throat was Woodward's inside source on all the stuff that broke to the Washington
Yes.
Post?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Woodward said that he had this elaborate system that he'd contact Deep Throat, that he would move this flower pot
Yes.
on his balcony. Okay, so his apartment faced a courtyard. So Deep Throat couldn't have just driven by
Yeah.
and seen the balcony. He would have to go behind the parking lot. And here's where it really gets problematic. If Mark Felt was fired 6 months before the most incriminating stuff on Nixon came out, the tapes. And so he, according to Woodward's, I mean, no one said this, but he was driving in from Virginia every day, going behind Woodward's building and looking up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's total bullshit. I mean, it's
yeah, and there was never, and they never even found the identity of. So that seems kind of weird to me, to be a journalist and be like, I have a secret source.
Yeah.
And then write it as fact.
Yes.
That seems outrageous. You can literally make anything up and say,
Yeah,
I have a
true.
secret source.
And especially, I mean, with all the lies that I catch them in. And then it's kind of interesting if Deep Throat ostensibly wanted to contact Woodward, he would take the New York Times and then he'd put the time, a clock on whatever page, and then the paper would be delivered to Woodward. But the problem is, all the New York Times that went to that particular apartment building were just put in a pile.
Yeah.
they weren't. They weren't put in front of Woodward's door. So the whole thing about Woodward is, and what happened was, as Watergate started taking a toll on the Nixon administration, he had to start firing people. He fired his chief of staff, Haldeman. He fired his domestic czar, John Ehrlichman. He had to fire his attorney general, Richard Kleindienst. And Alexander Haig was such a great shapeshifter. He had been in that administration because he'd worked for Nixon, or worked for Kissinger at the National Security Council. And Nixon really liked him. Haig hated Nixon, but Haig was a really cunning sociopath. So he became Nixon's chief of staff, which was the biggest mistake that Haldeman ever made, H.R. Haldeman. When he got fired, he said, well, try Alexander Haig. And it was Alexander Haig that provided the really incriminating stuff.
Gotcha.
But here's the thing. Woodward and Haig lied. They said they hadn't met each other until 1973. And Woodward was debriefing Haig in the 1960s when Woodward was with Naval Intelligence. So that...
Woodward was naval intelligence
Yeah.
before he became a journalist?
Yeah. And here's what...
Free Nixon, bro.
Yeah, true.
So what's interesting is, and I'll tell you just how crazy the Woodward story is. So Woodward, he graduates from Yale, and he's accepted to Harvard Law School. And then he ostensibly goes to the Washington Post after he's been accepted to Harvard Law School and says, I'd really like to be a reporter. I tell you what, I'm gonna, how about if I write for you guys for 2 weeks? And then if you don't like it, you don't even have to pay me. And if you don't like it, then I'll leave. So that was the deal that was ostensibly made with the Washington Post. And then they put him, ultimately he ended up in the AAA system of the Washington Post in a weekly in Maryland. And he drove a Carmen Ghia. He lived in a very nice apartment. There's no way that he could, and I demonstrate this in the book, there's no way that he could have paid. Woodward's definitely a spy at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. There's no way he was making that
And
money.
then the Washington Post brought him back. And then 9 months later, he and Bernstein broke open Watergate.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
They tell all kinds of other lies, but Deep Throat is definitely the biggest lie that they tell.
Do you think the stuff happening to Trump now might be some sort of interference operation or what?
I don't know.
You said it, brother. Yeah. I was waiting to ask, and I was like, I don't want to.
I was curious.
No,
it
it's
sounds
exactly
familiar.
it. Yeah.
I don't. It's really hard to know with Trump. I don't see how that guy cannot be compromised myself. I mean,
But it does have the thing that reminds me of it is like the hallmarks of like JFK and Nixon, where it's like, let's de-escalate with Russia, let's de-escalate with North Korea and China. Like, why are we? You know what I mean? It seems to be that.
I'm willing to keep my mind open on that.
Yeah.
His tax bill was probably the biggest redistribution of wealth that we've ever experienced in the United States in a short period of time. So he did help the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. He's also circled in Epstein's black book,
Yeah.
Right.
which is pretty incriminating. And he denied being with Epstein, but an Epstein victim has come forward and said that she'd talked to another Epstein victim. They were adults, but that
Yeah.
Trump had been kind of hard on the one victim. So
Damn. Hard on how so?
just a little rough.
Sexually rough.
Yeah.
I knew it was
I'm not-
dynamo in the sack. Dude.
I mean, we're not talking leather and S&M type stuff. you know?
You just put a hurting on a lady at Epstein's Island. Yeah, I would say, if you're on the, he was pretty good pals.
They were really good pals. And it's tough to know. He said that he
Sure.
heard that Epstein.
I heard he broke it off after the first one when Epstein got arrested in Florida.
Well, he
they-
ostensibly broke it off before then.
Yeah.
But I mean, Donald Trump has problems with veracity, so it's difficult to know.
Has there been any connections of him and Epstein after that? Like when he said they were done being friends?
Yeah,
he
he took Epstein's plane.
after that?
Yeah, after that, and he was also visited Epstein's house. A deposition from Epstein's brother Mark talks about that.
Damn.
So he did lie. Trump did lie about that.
Yeah.
Got you. With Gates, and Gates revisited him too, didn't he?
Well, here's the thing with Bill Gates.
Yes.
Okay, the media cover story on him is that they met in 2011. The Evening Standard did an article on Epstein in 2001. And according to that article, Gates and Epstein were doing business in the 90s.
Damn.
So there's a lot that's been covered up about Epstein. And there's guys like me that really want to get at the truth, but the government and the media are just fond of kicking out salacious details. And it's really hard to get to the truth because there's been so many lies. But when I think about Trump being prosecuted or persecuted, you know, I do think about Nixon being persecuted. I believe, you know, here's the thing with Nixon. He wanted to de-escalate the arms race. He wanted to open up China so he could use China against Russia. I mean, that was his thing, and it was working for sure. But then he backed Pinochet, who was a genocidal dictator. He jacked Suharto, who was a genocidal dictator, and then Pol Pot. The Chinese were down with Pol Pot, and he wanted to appease the Chinese, so he tacitly backed Pol Pot.
But was that CIA doing that, or that was him?
That was Nixon.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the CIA ultimately
Did it?
did things that enabled it.
They
but
got it done, yeah.
So
Gotcha.
with Nixon, it's not. The media has sold Nixon as good versus evil, but it's not quite that simple.
Yeah.
And the media has also said that it was the left that toppled Nixon, when it was actually the right that really had the means, motive, and opportunity.
Yeah.
Initially, I mean, eventually the left got involved, but after the right had inflicted a tremendous amount of damage on him.
Dang. Yeah, I had no idea. I never really asked. I didn't know much about Watergate. I thought he just got caught doing something kind of bad. And
Yeah, everything that, like I said when we started, everything that you know about Watergate is a lie.
Damn.
Just about everything.
Shit.
Let's take a pee break.
Yeah, I do have to pee really badly.
Quick break.
Quick break, yes.
It can be easy. Hey. I'm joshing. Eat your chicken, dude. It can be easy to ignore our social battery and spread.
Goodbye.
Yeah, before we get into the Watergate stuff.
Yeah, we'll do this as like a precursor almost. Almost. There you go. Yeah, we'll do it as a precursor.
Yeah, because a lot of the people listening to this are young men that just young men that
Yeah.
have never really heard of Watergate or have just a brief summary of some names and what the overall scandal, or at least is portrayed as.
The official narrative. Yeah.
Okay, the official narrative with Watergate is Richard Nixon sanctioned Watergate, and the burglars got busted. And then Nixon tried to cover it up. And then that's ultimately what he was taken down for, is obstruction of justice.
Okay.
But the real Watergate story is Nixon didn't have a clue that those guys were breaking in to the Watergate. He had a couple of guys on his staff, Jeb Magruder, who was acting chairman for the committee to re-elect the president, and John Dean, who was counsel to the president. Those two guys sanctioned the Watergate break-ins. And the burglars, G. Gordon Liddy and was the only one that wasn't CIA. All those burglars were CIA guys or CIA assets or had been CIA assets. G. Gordon Liddy was the only one, and he'd worked for the FBI. So Liddy was the point man, and Liddy thought that breaking into the Watergate was coming from Nixon's Attorney General, John Dean, or John Mitchell.
Right.
He had no idea that it was coming from Jeb Magruder and John Dean. So they sent the burglars in the first time to get as much information on the Democrats. Now, the Watergate was the sixth floor of the Democratic National Committee was on the Democratic National Committee was on the sixth floor of the Watergate. And the burglars broke in the first time, and they were looking for like Democratic strategies, things like that.
Gotcha.
And then they broke in a second time.
The first time they broke in, they didn't get caught.
They did not get caught. No.
And this was how long before the second break-in?
About 3 weeks.
Okay.
And then 3 weeks later, they were ordered to get as much dirt as they possibly could. And the Democratic National Committee was connected to a brothel that was a CIA honey trap. And what happened was the secretary at the Democratic National Committee had in her desk, she had pictures of a bunch of prostitutes.
Yeah.
And Democratic VIPs would check out the pictures of the
Funny they
prostitutes.
got busted doing that. So that was a whole separate issue. Yeah. So we got that one.
All right.
Yeah, we got that one.
I think we're good.
Yeah. So we got the preamble.
Let's fire it up right back to where we were, which was, what were we talking about? Yeah, Bill Gates.
Easy.
All right. We just got done talking about Bill Gates' connection with Epstein back in the 90s.
Yeah.
What bothers me about Gates, have you guys ever tried to get a hold of a human if you've had a problem with Word?
Oh, it's the worst, dude. Or you know what happened one time? What happens is they'll do a thing where you'll just like an Indian guy will just take over your computer. Like I was like moving my mouse and my mouse would start going to the left and I'd be like, what the fuck? And he's like, sir, please stop. Yeah, they'll just, if you gotta give them permission, they'll just get into your computer and start fucking going nuts on it.
You've gone for, I've never been
It
able
took
to
a
make
lot for me to get that though. I was chat bot after chat bot.
If they got into my computer, dude,
Yeah, and
they
eventually.
could ruin all of my Total War campaigns.
Dude, you could
They
tank
could start a war with Russia. Dude. I don't want that.
You know, here's what
your
I
own
mean.
Watergate.
There's a number of things that bother me about Bill Gates, but one of the preeminent things is he's buying all this land.
Yeah.
Why can't he put a call center? You know, on one of those acres. I mean, if he just spent a little of his money and made a call center in
Yeah.
Idaho.
Or have the dudes like hoeing all the strawberries, the Bluetooth, and they could do two at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
See?
But not Billy. He's got because I'm a writer and I rely on Microsoft Word, unfortunately.
Dude,
and I had some problems with it about 6 months ago, and I desperately tried to talk to humans.
Yeah.
Can you find your Word documents that you save on the OneDrive? If I save anything on OneDrive, I can't find it. I don't know where it is on my computer. Sorry, we don't have to talk about computer
No.
files.
Well, I mean, I can try to give you. I can try to
anytime
give you
use
some
OneDrive,
tips.
I can't find the file afterwards. I'm stumped. I'm currently stumped. I try to
You
send.
lost your files.
I just try to like they're there, but then I try to email them to someone as an attachment, and it's just like, where is it? I'm
You
like,
need
I
a call
don't know.
center.
I do.
You desperately need
You got to
a call
let
center.
the engines into your computer, and they'll just start.
Yeah, they'll get it.
They'll get in there. Which I don't know
mean-
how it even got in there. That was kind of nuts. I was like, what? Get out of my fucking mouse.
I mean, Gates wasn't making enough money selling Microsoft Word. Now we have to rent it, and then
Yeah, the suite.
there's no call center. I mean,
Yeah, that might be his most, honestly, out of everything he's accused of, that might be the worst.
Was he ever accused of laying with ladies at Epstein's?
he's been outed that way.
Yeah.
Not with Epstein, but with some other scenarios.
Okay.
But if he's been outed in other scenarios, I mean, why wouldn't?
Yeah,
he
why
be?
wouldn't he do
Yeah.
it? at the-
Then his wife was the one who like blasted him on the Epstein stuff
Actually,
Which is a good God.
according to the media, she left him
because of it.
because of the Epstein stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
who
he and
knows,
Epstein
yeah.
went back to the 1990s.
Damn.
Instead of 2011. There's so much bullshit that's been manufactured about Epstein and so much salacious dirt. It's really unfortunate. You've got a guy that trafficked children for 25 years, and our media, no one in the mainstream media has called for any justice for any of those victims.
No,
yeah,
that's-
well, it became right wing to even care about it.
That's been that's
yeah,
not for
that's
sure.
what happened. If you
that
care
became
about it,
also
you're right-wing.
that's a big thing we talk about a lot on this is like we don't do anything about it. The only thing you can do with Epstein is just on a podcast be like, the fuck?
Yeah.
What was that?
Yeah, true.
They killed him. We knew they were gonna kill him.
Yeah.
And he trafficked kids and no one that's as far as we get.
There's a couple of things with Epstein that people just don't know. Okay, 'cause there's the Epstein Victims Compensation Fund that where a lot of Epstein's money went, and 225 victims applied for money. 150 were given. 150 were given money, and 8 decided not to take the deal. So ultimately, 142 were given money.
Damn.
Damn.
Can you
Well-
imagine being cheap with that money?
But think of all the girls that he trafficked, and only 225 were come
Yeah.
forward. But there's a couple other things. If you take any money from that fund, you've got to sign an NDA. Where you cannot name any of the perpetrators. And also, I know 2 psychologists, and one of them is very eminent. She's in the world of psychology, she's quite the superstar. She's counseled a woman, and then another psychologist is counseled a woman. They were under 10 years old when they were trafficked by Epstein. And one actually described Epstein's home and then talked about a park that was by his house and a number of things. And she was under 10 years old. And then I know of one other, I mean, these 2 psychologists I know pretty well, but then I know of another account too that I've been told of another account from someone who's, I think, legitimate, but I just haven't been able to corroborate it. So you've got the Epstein Victims Compensation Fund is a huge cover-up tool.
Damn.
It's being used to do what the government can't, to get these girls to shut up. And you've got to, and according to the government and the mainstream media, the youngest Epstein victim was 14 years old. So if you're going to apply for that fund and you're younger than 14, they're not gonna give you any money. And we have no idea of how it works. We have no idea what the criteria is. It's behind it's in a black hole essentially.
It's weird that they're not. Why would it's not weird. We know why, but it's clear it's a cover up. They're not being open about anything. This should all be like you said. You filed for Freedom of Information Act and all that. This should be public right?
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like, what's the point of being like, we can't tell anyone what
Pretty
happened?
useful to know, in
Yeah.
terms of like hiring, voting for politicians.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, you raped a
Yeah,
kid.
did he rape a kid?
Yeah, you're out, dude.
We can't vote for you.
Yeah.
I wrote a book called The Franklin Scandal, which is basically Epstein is a carbon copy of the Franklin
Yeah.
Scandal. It was about a child trafficking network. We talked about that the first time I was on your show.
Mm-hmm.
And this time around, I mean, I was on to Epstein in 2012, and I got his black book in 2012.
Yeah.
And I ultimately published it. Gawker helped me publish it in 2015, but it took me 3 years to get that book published. It's kind of interesting. Once the book was nobody wanted to touch the book.
Yeah.
And but once the book was published, the floodgates opened on the
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
And I started an organization, a 501c3 called Epstein Justice. And what we're trying to do is to get a commission formed to actually look at the perpetrators. We want the perpetrators to be accountable, and we want to know why the government is covering up child trafficking. We have two simple objectives. We want the perpetrators prosecuted, and we want the government to tell us why it's covering up child trafficking.
Yeah, like why did they seal the original case when he got busted the first time? That all got sealed, didn't it? The very
yeah,
first case way back
Florida.
when.
A lot of that was sealed. I mean, I was able to get a lot of documents
Really?
from the police and also the feds. They're floating around out there. I mean, the feds when Epstein was originally busted. The Palm Beach Police Department started investigating in 2006, and then about a year later, they they were going to arrest Epstein on 5 counts of child abuse, and they knew. They had statements from 5 minors, but they knew of 17 others. So there were 22 minors there. And then that case got taken away from them, and it was put into a grand jury. And how grand juries work is a special prosecutor is chosen for a grand jury, and he's the one that presents evidence to the grand jurors who they're just regular citizens that have shown up for jury duty. And so grand juries have been notoriously easy to hijack because you just show them the evidence that you want to show them. So although, and the special prosecutor for the Florida grand jury, Barry Kirshner, he called one victim and skewered her, even though he knew about 22, even though law enforcement. Now, when it went to the feds, they had a list, and I've got that list of over 30 victims. And they didn't indict Epstein on 1 count of child abuse.
Jesus.
And it's interesting, a lot of your listeners might know this, but Alexander Acosta was the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida. And he became Trump's labor secretary. And when the Trump administration was vetting him, they asked him why he went so light on Epstein. And he said, I was told that Epstein was intelligence and it was above my pay grade. He actually said that, and he's never denied saying that.
What?
Yeah, he said that.
Shit.
So
crazy.
Unfortunately, there's a rogue element of our intelligence that blackmails people. And it happened in Watergate, it happened in the Franklin scandal, and then it happened with Confessions of a DC Madam. So this is Watergate's actually my 3rd book on CIA sexual blackmail. And I don't really want to write another one at this point. I mean, I'm kind of done now.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to start writing about fishing.
That'd be nice.
Fishing and picnics.
Fantasy, a nice like fantasy novel would be nice.
I think my mind is probably too dark for that, but given what I've exposed it to the last, I've been at this for 22 years, so
Yeah.
it's been kind of a slog. But Epstein Justice, every American knows that something is wrong with the Epstein case.
Yeah.
There's 3. If you've got a pathology, there's 3 ways. There's 3 phases. There's awareness, there's acceptance, there's action. And now we're at the point where Americans have to accept that the government covered this up. And then at that point, and that's a jumping off point for action.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, nobody believed that he could. I think you got to be pretty entrenched in like the TV news to be like, no, the police were going to arrest him and penalize him, but then he killed himself. It's like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He did pick a convenient time to kill himself.
True.
Yeah.
I
And the guards left and the cameras turned off.
And he got depressed, and he's like,
And he
what's
got
the
sad.
point? What the fuck?
He missed the guards.
and then his serial killer cellmate was taken out,
Yeah.
and
Damn, he had a cellmate? I didn't even know that.
what's that?
He was bunking up with the guy?
Yeah, with the guy that had killed multiple people. I think maybe the Bureau of Prisons was hoping that.
Yeah, that guy would get it done.
I mean, they're in pretty close. You're in pretty close proximity with with a multiple killer. You know, multiple.
They're probably shaking his cage, rattling his cage,
Oh,
trying to
yeah.
get every day at lunch, be like, yeah, fuck you, pussy. You
won't
won't do it. You
fucking
won't
kill
fucking
anyone."
kill anyone ever again. You're soft, bitch. Here, take this knife.
That's crazy. Yeah, he was there with a serial killer.
It's this guy was a former police officer who'd killed some people.
Yeah, those
don't know if
guys
you-
go rogue, dude.
Yeah, it's. I don't know if you could call him a serial. I don't know. A serial killer. I think he killed
He was
like
a
three
killer,
people.
yeah. He was a
We
killer.
got one here right now. In
I
Austin.
heard
In
about
Austin,
the
really?
Austin killer,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think they found 2 bodies like last week.
Mm-hmm.
No one cares because apparently it's gay guys. So everyone's going, it doesn't matter.
They suspect he's gay because he only kills like young adult males
Oh,
that
okay.
leave like bars on Rainy Street.
And that's where you frequent.
That's not where I frequent.
Careful, Sean.
Sean, be careful.
I'll catch him.
You might catch him. You might, yeah, with
I'll
your
lure
wrestling
him
background.
in, yeah, and I'll catch
Did you
him.
ever hear about the
Pin his
Bring
lake?
him to justice.
My friend was telling me this weekend there's a lake somewhere in Georgia called like not Rainier, some sort of lake where apparently it had something to do with like the slave trade back in the day and blah blah blah. But all these like younger kids will be partying on the lake, and they just go under. And they'll ask their friends like, "Was your friend like hammered?" Like, "Nah, I look fine." So there's the local lore that like there's these ghosts of slaves that are just like pulling down white partiers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, I heard about that. I was like, damn, that's so scary.
That's very scary.
Like ghosts
Get
of
your ass down. Get your ass down, motherfucker.
Better work on your breaststroke.
Yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Now this is racist, but you'd think you'd be able to outswim. You think that's white's territory? You go, oh, we're in the water now, dude.
You just get
You've
yanked
entered the
up.
white's domain.
You've had your 5th white claw. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, that's a tough way to go.
here, boy.
A ghoul.
You're on a paddleboard. You're like, get off me.
Oh shit.
My
Either way.
first major investigation was into a
I
serial
thought you
killer.
liked that.
I love it.
My first major investigation was I'm from Minneapolis, and I
Sure.
wrote for the Weekly, and there was a crazy woman who she ran an organization called Whisper, and she tried to mainstream prostitutes, get them out of the life. But she was so crazy that it was hard to listen to her, and she was saying that there's serial killer killing prostitutes, but nobody really listened to her because she was so crazy. And then I decided, well, I'm going to look into this, and I was able to find, I think it was like 46 women, mostly prostitutes, that have been stabbed, strangled, or beaten to death in the previous 8 years. Now, law enforcement had denied that there was a serial killer, but then I showed them my list, which was really difficult to put together.
Yeah.
I showed them my list, and I said, I went to the Minneapolis Police Department, I went to the St. Paul Police. I said, you guys really want to say that there's no serial killer? And then they kind of copped to it, but then it was a task force was formed.
Oh, wow. Did they ever get the guy?
In the wake of that article. No.
Yeah.
And they're really hard to catch
Yeah.
if they're good. I mean, if they're stupid, you can get them
Yeah.
after one or two.
True, yeah.
But if they're Ted Bundy or someone,
Was Dahmer in Minneapolis?
he was in Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. He's in Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, I can remember I was at this really nice little island in Lake Superior called Madeline Island, and the guys that I was staying with, they don't have like televisions or radios or anything. I mean, it's pretty rustic, and it's really cool to do a lot of it. There's berry picking and fishing, all kinds of stuff.
It's awesome. Berry picking's nice. I did it this year. It's very relaxing. Ate blueberries. It was fantastic.
It's
Ate so
we
many.
were definitely picking blueberries,
That's nice.
It was awesome.
and I came back to civilization, and I stopped off at a diner, and that's when Jeffrey Dahmer had been outed, and I was reading the newspaper, and I thought to myself, "Welcome back to civilization."
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
He's a cannibal.
But the FBI says that there's like 50 of them at any given time in the United States.
50 serial killers kicking around?
But I think that it's probably closer to 200.
Jesus Christ.
It's kind of interesting. Our culture, I mean, serial killers are in all cultures, but our culture seems to mass produce them more than other countries.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
What would be your insights into that?
About why we have more serial killers?
Yeah.
Because we're number one.
True. We're the best.
We're
Yeah,
the
we
best
are
at
the
literally
best.
everything. School shooters.
Yeah, we are the best.
We're number one.
Do we? So we definitely have the most serial. Like how far is our lead?
I think Japan covers them up. I think Asia covers them up
I-
and says, no, there's no murders here.
Yeah.
I think we got quite the head start. If it's a 50-yard dash,
We celebrate ours. They hide theirs.
it's
True.
well, there was
Russia gets after it, don't they? I think there's a lot
there
of
was that
Russian
Russian Chikatilo who
boys. Yeah.
killed in excess of like 100 people.
The guy here is, and he's putting them all in Lady Bird. He puts all the bodies in the same spot.
Really, I mean that
Yeah, the
should
cops just go and let's set up let's get some fucking
True.
trail cams out there.
Yeah.
It's not that you guys don't even have to wait outside. Just put a camera up.
Yeah. Right by the lake.
Go, who's dumping sweet gardinis into the Ladybird Lake?
He's looking at the camera.
Party boys. Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. They got me.
Yeah, that's that
so
shit
they
creeps me out.
has
man.
he? You would think that if they knew where he's dumping them,
You would think.
that would be
It'd be kind of easy.
put a camera there and
What is it?
The United States apparently has had 3,615 total serial killers. Second place is Russia with 196.
Damn.
We're the best.
that's quite a lead. Yeah.
I think that also could do with
be
law enforcement here.
Catching.
At least investigating. I think if you're, and this is starting in what, like the 60s, 70s is when serial killers started getting rowdy?
Yeah, I mean they were happening before then, but
Yeah. But I mean, noted,
But
like getting caught
yeah.
and being like in the news. We had media and people looking out for it.
We have more
You could be in the middle of fucking Russia killing people and no one would ever. You go village to village. They go, yeah, that guy's gone.
Chikatilo was doing that though. The
Yeah.
Russian serial killer.
But
Yeah.
we have more
That
like
was
shooters. We have more. I guess that's
Soviet,
because
yeah.
we have all them guns.
But the guns thing. What's interesting is Canada has pretty much the same amount of guns per capita as U.S.
Really?
and they're not shooting people like we shoot people.
That's interesting. I wonder what the hell it is. Red food coloring, red food dye. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe it is just.
Too much
I
MTV.
think it's
What's your theory?
Too much Beavis and Butthead.
True.
South Park. Marilyn Manson.
people eating McDonald's.
Yeah, I was going to say tuna
McDonald's.
chicken nuggets. I was just thinking the same thing.
You do go nuts if you have nuggets.
Dipping your fries into a frosty and you're just,
You go, I should kill that bitch.
My,
This
My-
reminds me of a knife into a hooker.
my theory on McDonald's, it's all made out of the same substance. It's just at different temperatures. Now, I could be wrong. It's Soylent Green. I mean, I should add that too. Would your generation know what Soylent Green is?
I've heard of it. It was that one-stop shop. Like you could just drink the shake and it replaced food, basically.
No, actually, it was a movie where
Oh,
the population had kind of escalated and they were recycling people. Vis-a-vis lunch, breakfast,
Yeah.
and dinner.
they have a thing called Soylent that I swear to God it's like a meal replacement.
It was a Charlton Heston movie, actually.
It's kind of fucked up. They named the shake after that.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
It was before he became president of the NRA.
Damn. Yeah, I don't know. That is a mystery to ponder. Why would we have the most serial killers? Our rough competitive edge.
I bet we have the most of literally everything.
True. The best.
I bet we have the most pedophiles. I bet we got it on lock. Everything. Best slam dunks. Most slam dunks.
True. Everyone in their own way has to aspire to greatness.
You gotta do something crazy.
It's true.
Well, what's interesting is the United States, I think, is the most spiritual country and the most material country. There's more spiritual options here than I think anywhere else, but yet there's also a rampant materialism.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe all that materialism begets that. You know, you go, why do I need all this shit? I need to find something.
Well, your materialism begot me starting a podcast. So it's kind of interesting. I'm a really bad speller. I was really dyslexic as a kid, and I can't really spell. If it wasn't for spell check, there's no way I could have been a professional writer. So I was at a buddy's place, and he had one of those Macs, and he put spell check on, and he said, and I watched the spell check correct all the words. And I thought, I got to get one of those. So I got a Mac. And then I moved to New York, and I covered this conference on genetic engineering. And I was writing an article about telomeres. They're like the egglets on the end of your chromosome. And every time a cell divides, the telomere shortens, and that's what determines your obsolescence. So I plugged telomere into her search engine. This was even before Google. And then there was all these hits on telomeres, and I got a bunch of information about it, and I was able to write the article. But as soon as I saw those hits on telomeres, I said, I got to get one of those. That kind of was a Freudian. And then I did your and then I did your podcast, and you told me how much money you make, and I said, I got to get one of those.
You saw our tits.
You saw our sweet tits.
Hell yeah.
Well, let's get some closing arguments here. What are you thinking about? What do you want to close on? Watergate, Epstein,
Future of the country.
I would say your listeners go to Epstein Justice and check us out. And, it'd be helpful if you bought my Watergate book. Actually, it'd be helpful if you bought any of my books. And it's good to be back with you guys.
Yeah, hell yeah,
Thank you,
man.
man.
Thanks for coming.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
man. Awesome.
Wild, wild. Wicked wild, wicked wild, wicked wild, wild west. Jim West, Desperado, Rough Rider. No, you don't want nada.
2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016.
I hope they forgive me for what I did with Diddy. Dream chasers, nigga. I hope they forgive me for what I did with Diddy. Real street nigga forever. Bitch, I'm the king of Philly.
Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
That's why I don't be going to them puffy parties. They can hug you from the front and the back at the same time.
The Wild Wild West.
Yo.
There's a lot going on.
Finally, some news.
I've been waiting for a bridge to get hit by a fucking boat.
Yeah, dude.
There's been nothing going on.
Thank God for the podcasting world.
The podcasting world will solve this issue.
We're like bugs on world events. We just fucking... Something terrible happened. Diddy's a molester.
Diddy, the diddler.
Diddler's in super trouble, dude.
He's in big trouble.
Did we break that story?
We were pretty close. We were early on the diddler.
You knew who broke that story?
Kanye?
Yeah, he broke
was a
the story
Fed, dude.
hard.
Ye knew.
He
No,
broke
Ye's not Fed. Ye was like Diddy and Meek are Feds.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. But
50,
yeah, dude.
50's hinting, dude. At
Yeah.
the Jigga Man.
At Hove.
at Hove being.
I mean, the black community for them, a huge swath of the black community already has him on like sus patrol big time. Just it's Illuminati charges.
He had early Illuminati charges.
Early ones. Who knew? It was that's just being involved with potentially the intelligence services.
Yeah.
Potentially. Again, I don't know. I think
maybe it's pretty clear that this is
the Clintons. How do the Clintons get you, dude? If you're a rapper and the Clintons hit you up like, "Yo, we want you to do this thing," how in the world are they able to get you to do that?
It works.
Unless.
I'm not going to say it.
That was the funniest clip of all time.
It's number one.
I'm not going to say who did it. Dude, I was telling you on the way here, Diddy's wife sued, allegedly, for him bringing the bros through. The professional bros. Dude, imagine you're on a date. Cassie's allegations were that the diddler would take her out for a nice dinner and then call like the Dancing Bear troupe to come through. Yeah, the fellas, bro. He had the plug for fucking pro dudes.
You see the dude driving outside and he's talking about how Diddy has buses filled with little kids coming to his house at 3 a.m. all the time.
Who was white neighbors said that?
No, that was the one I was telling you. That one was a black neighbor that yelled it. Yeah. That article was good, though. You need to bring that up from The Root.
Dude, that was great. Do you fuck with The Root at all? Lemaire, do you fuck with The Root? That's probably what's scrambling your fucking mind, dude.
No, dude, I don't fuck with The Root.
I never heard of it.
You ever heard of The Root?
No.
There's The Root. There's Mother Jones. They're like
I
these
heard of Mother Jones.
wild fucking articles. But The Root ran an article being like, Diddy's white neighbors are the problem. Diddy's white neighbors call the cops because they don't like him having too much sex in parties. Yeah, the Karens. They're trying to blame this on the Karens. Which is like, dude, I don't know, man.
We need more Karens, bro.
We might, dude. We might have to go on Karen arrest.
We shunned the Karens, and since then, crime's gone through the roof.
It's true. That's true. Yeah, no white lady wants to be
rid of
online.
crime's only predators. You know?
True. It is
Karens.
a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
We need Karens out and about. Because now they're shamed. Now it's like, I don't want white ladies feeling like they can't call the police if they, you know.
And they feel that way. People's lives got ruined for calling the police.
Apartment.
Remember the Central Park lady?
Which one?
Oh yeah. The bird watcher guy.
Yeah.
I think he was like being weird as fuck to that lady. He said he was gonna kill her dog.
Probably, yeah.
And then she started swinging it around. Yeah, she said, "You're not gonna kill me. I'm gonna kill my dog."
Well, I mean, we got to check in. We should do an investigative report and see how apartment complexes pools are going. So that's when Karens freak.
Yeah.
If you're chilling by the apartment complex pool, and all of a sudden you see like 12 black teenagers, you start going.
Yeah, you go, no way.
I didn't see wristbands.
No way.
I didn't see wristbands.
They're not going to ruin my pool day. I'm trying to read some Grisham.
Really? Yeah, dude. You should.
No. I'm saying the pool lady. She's. I'm just trying to lay in the sun.
Trying to read The Rainmaker.
And read
some legal thrillers. Yeah, I mean, dude, there is no harsher vibe.
Some legal thrillers.
The apartment complex pool might be the harshest vibe of all time. Just one dude standing with his arms out of the pool.
The apartment complex pool is rough.
They're watching like two Puerto Rican kids jumping in and out of the water.
The con man's in one right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's got one up there.
Oh, that's got to be nice. You got to swim so soft and gently.
Oh, we talked about it last time. Lemaire got there and he was in a bad mood and the babes were at the pool and he was grumpy about it.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
I would
the
be
babes
pissed.
to see my fat body.
I would rather black teens than babes at the pool.
Yeah, dude, every single day.
I'd rather have the black teens. No Diddy on that, for real.
True.
Yeah, take that back. That's a big diddler comment. Big diddler. Big diddler. Dude.
A busload.
I downloaded Twitter again just to follow the diddler.
Did you?
The diddler, black Twitter on the diddler was as funny as it gets.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, and especially, dude, busloads of kids is kind of wild.
Just any Twitter. I don't know why I said black Twitter, but you know.
No, Black Twitter is a distinct entity that's like, they cover, I mean, dude, I followed the Meek stuff, like,
dude,
daily.
how about the audio of them fucking? It's clearly just gay porn. It's just gay porn. There's no way it's audio. They're like, here's the audio of them fucking.
You think it's actually Meek? How could you tell that it's Meek? It's just a gay guy being like, yeah.
He has a distinctive voice.
Yeah, it does. That's actually. Have you heard it yet? No. That's what it sounds like.
That's just how he raps all the time.
That sounds like him rapping. It does sound like he's rapping.
No, really. I think audio Meek Mill.
I got 100 pumps.
Hold up, wait a minute. Hey, yo. What the hell? Oh, my God.
That's disturbing, dude.
I know, it's vulgar.
That's absolutely disturbing.
It's just the video of that guy scream coming. That's hurtful, dude. Because then it's just a picture of Diddy and Meek while the audio's playing.
Really?
You could put a hit piece out on anybody.
Yeah, dude.
Just get a picture of two people and just play gay porn. And be like, here's leaked audio.
This is them.
This is them.
I found I was outside their bedroom recording audio.
I had a wire. I was in the corner jacking off with my shirt on so as not to expose my wire.
I surrounded myself with 6 male prostitutes for protection. But you know what? I'll give this to Diddy. On that one with his wife, Cassie, maybe he suffered from a bad case of like self-gifting. You know when you think something's really sick and you get it for someone and they're like, this isn't really my thing?
Yeah.
He was probably like, 6 gigolos.
That's everybody's going to want this.
Yeah, Diddy was probably like, dude, this is what I do all the time on my birthday.
Yeah.
Having the plug on 6 male prosts is like, you know how deep you got to be in hookers to like find that many male prostitutes?
That's fucking gross.
Yeah. I don't know. You'd have to get like pretty in the mix of hookers just to find male prosts. I mean, I guess he probably had he probably had like the escort service. He probably had the ultimate plug. But that's fucking, dude, if true, my God.
Those boys were probably having fun though, the 6 pros.
Fucking for Diddy?
The
How hard
toots.
would you fuck for Bad Boy Entertainment?
Oh, I'd go as hard as I could for Bad Boy. Now I'm West Coast, by the way.
Oh yeah, true.
I used to be East Coast till I died.
You'd be
but
death row now.
Now I'm death row.
You just hang Diddy's wife by her ankles over a hotel balcony instead of fucking her like Suge Knight.
Did you see that they said, I think it was Jay-Z's Big Pimpin' video was filmed on Epstein Island?
Nah.
I saw it. No, it was Fiesta with R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, yeah. Fiesta.
I think it was filmed in Miami, but it's fun to say. I looked it up. The Illuminati changed the Google search to, and they said it was in Miami. It's like, bro, that was obviously on Epstein's Island.
I think I saw
Nickelodeon logos shaped like Epstein's Island. Come on, dude.
Really?
It's definitely not just a splat.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I mean, dude, I'm just curious of who's all gonna go down with the diddler. Because he'll probably
He's gonna get suicided.
You think so?
Epstein, yeah.
Yeah, but who's gonna?
If he's
who's
got
gonna
the dirt on Jay-Z, Hope's not gonna let that out.
Do you think they'll hang him with a Gucci scarf?
Yeah, they could do that. They could just say he was trying to jack off, strangling himself.
True.
Everyone will be like, yeah, definitely.
He got smothered under like 18 male prostitutes. He died in a stampede.
In a dog pile.
In a scrum.
Those dog piles get vicious though.
I bet.
You ever been on the bottom one? Not sexually.
I played rugby, dude.
In football, yeah.
The
You
scrum,
get down there,
you
you
get
go,
fucking
get
crushed.
off me! Get the
Get
fuck
off me, man! Ow! You stepped on me.
That was my favorite. Whenever, in football, like if somebody scored a touchdown, just jumping on them and having them be like, yeah, dude, get the fuck up.
Yeah, it's been a very shameful week in the press.
Very shameful. And then there's the Nickelodeon documentary that came out. I watched that. That's what I was watching the last 2 days. It's a tough watch, dude.
Yeah.
It's a very uncomfortable watch.
I've yet to see it, but I believe it's probably pretty brutal.
Yeah.
I've heard about that guy forever, by the way. Schneidman?
Schneider got off easy on that.
I know.
They were just saying he didn't get accused of any sexual assault in that.
He did not.
In the documentary, no.
Okay.
But they had the bros were sneaking around, dude.
That's what I heard.
A couple bros got caught on all that.
Catch and release? Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I knew. I used to watch all
the-
that when I
the
was younger, and I
pickleball.
was like, this shit is not funny. And I could tell. I was like, there's something going on here.
They had me.
You liked
the
it?
programming worked. I was
I
in
hated
there. I was
all that.
like,
Because
man.
they would do the don't laugh challenge. I'm like, bro, I can crush these things. I hated every segment. I was like, this isn't funny. The dude in the bathtub talking French would almost give me one
Yes.
segment from all that.
What was his name? Pierre
Escargot.
Yeah.
PRS got go, dude.
Still.
I love when the guy loved ketchup. Come on, dude. That was another guy.
From what, Good Burger?
No, Keenan would play a chef who would love ketchup. It was pretty good. anything Kel was in, he'd go around being
Kel-
like, repairman, man.
Kel would make me laugh, but that was a different show, wasn't that?
No, it was
they
all
were-
that.
They were all that, and then Good Burger.
Who Loves Orange Soda? That was
That's
all that.
Good Burger.
Keenan
Kel.
and Kel. Yeah, Kel would get me. Kel was the one guy that would get me to crack a smile.
I remember I was very young. I liked the fat lady doing the news. Lori Beth, when I was a kid, I was like, that lady's got talent.
You liked her? Yeah, I
I
didn't.
styled my entire career off her. That was my mentors are Leonardo da Vinci, Lori Beth Ginsburg.
What's LBG up to right now?
What's Lori Beth Ginsburg? What's Ruth Bader
What's
Ginsburg?
LGB up to?
She's just hitting Comic-Cons now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she's in the circuit.
Damn, in the Comic-Con whack-off circuit.
That's the next one, dude. Yeah.
All the pedophiles get to meet all the grown-up kids now.
That's the next one that's gonna get busted. There'll be a Comic-Con documentary where that's gonna be a diddler. That's a diddler's dream, dude.
Yeah, that's a playground for a diddler. Now, there's one guy in all that. That's it's not funny, but it is. There's one dude that was a production assistant on all that, and he would be the liaison between the kids and the parents, and he became friends with all of them, and he was like a normal, nice guy. Everyone was like, "This guy's great," and then he emailed. He got the kids' emails, and be like, "I think you've got something. We can work in the future on this." So all the parents were like, "Yeah, definitely. This is great. They're in the business now."
Yeah.
And then he sent this 10-year-old girl a email with a picture of him jacking off naked. And the mom said she just heard her daughter start scream crying and running into her bedroom. And then no, it's just very funny thinking of the guy being like, you know how when you're really horny and you're like, I'm gonna send a picture of my dick to this girl. Not a child, but
I know what you mean.
even as an adult, that's
Yeah, it's the same
that's a
process.
risky enterprise.
Yeah,
imagine, and then you finish, and you're like, "Why the fuck did I do that?" Think of his oh, she didn't respond. This is bad, dude. You got left on red by a 10-year-old.
Oh.
You got to go to their house. You got to drive to the house with a gun and be
Gotta
like,
snatch the
"Yeah,
phone."
open your fucking email. I'll kill myself right now. Open your email."
The problem is, to be that bold and brazen, there had to have been so many other things that he got away with, where he was like,
He had the file cabinet of hundreds of
Yeah.
little girls with their underwear and
Yeah, he had Ziploc
photos.
bags with each of their names on it.
Is
I
disgusting.
think he got 6 years.
"What?"
Yeah, they all just get.
They all got fucking
and
10
then they
minutes
just
in
work
jail.
at Disney Channel instead of Nickelodeon when they get out. It's fucking nuts.
Jason Handy.
Handsy.
The hand man, dude.
Handsy.
And then
Yeah,
the
how
other guy.
does the penalty not for that just to get thrown in a hole?
Yeah,
It
that's.
should be.
You send a
buried.
picture of your dick to a kid, you should. Yeah.
They should leave it up to the parents. Do you want to see him in the arena? It's like, yes, please. That should be
That would be
pure
nice.
gladiatorial. Even in Dune, where they poison
You should have
them.
to fight the guy in Dune.
Yeah, and they give him a little bit of poison.
We should
For
have a
me,
Dune.
I'd be like, no poison, obviously.
We should have a Dune man like that.
Yeah, we should. A
That
champion.
and we sacrifice people to the Dune man.
Family champion.
Yeah.
Dude, this country tomorrow could watch pedophiles get their heads cut off in an arena. No problem.
I think Saudi Arabia fucks with that.
Dude.
Afghanistan was doing that. I remember the Taliban they'd fill up a soccer stadium for beheadings.
I don't know, man. You might have to cut just 10 of these guys' heads off on TV. And we won't get addicted to it. We'll chill.
Yeah.
But just one halftime show where we just do a firing squad on pedophiles. And
Yes.
the whole country's like, oh, shit.
And bread. We need bread out there. The bread and circus. We need the games.
And Bruno Mars is in the background yeah. He's in the hole
Bruno
right
Mars
now.
would be nice.
He's in the hole.
He's a little gambling that. Hold on.
Everyone's fucking up right
Hold on, I
now.
wanted to bring up. There's one more pedophile that's very funny because his on the show he was Pickle Boy, and he would just go around and give people pickles, and they were like, "What's the joke?" All the kids were like, "I don't know." He just hands us pickles. Turns out he was a diddler, dude.
He sucked Drake Bell, dude. He sucked Drake
Yeah,
Bell.
he got Drake Bell.
Oh, yeah. That was the pickle guy got him?
And Pickle Boy got Drake Bell.
Did you see him hand Ray Romano a pickle through the glory
Yeah,
hole?
that's
That was fucking
tough,
crazy.
dude, for Ray. That was a
Romano took the
tough
pickle?
one. Romano took the pickle through a glory hole and really double-handed the pickle.
Yeah, it was sus. No dig.
Because Romano definitely had no idea that this was a gay pedophile shit. He was just like, yeah, I'll eat the pickle.
Drake's dad knew the whole time.
Drake's dad was a
and they were
beast.
like, no, he's just gay. You're being a jerk about
Yeah.
it. Why
the guilt
you
of
just don't
Drake's
like him
dad.
'cause
And that was
he's
back in like
gay.
the 90s too.
Yeah.
His dad was probably pissed he was gay too.
Yeah, he probably,
That is probably like,
yeah.
what
His dad looked like he'd be pissed that somebody was gay. Dude.
Ponytail
His dad looked like
mustache.
a bro.
Yeah,
But
he
it was
cool.
1995. It was like that was your number one theory. Like he's getting into acting. I'm like, fuck.
They would cut to pictures of the Pickle Boy and then Drake's dad, and it was like, dude, that's a man. Pickle Boy's a bitch.
How old is Pickle Boy?
Probably his 40s.
Allegedly, he got DiCaprio too on another set prior to when he worked at Nickelodeon.
He was rubbing DiCaprio
He's
on
rubbing
camera. For
DiCaprio.
sure.
That's the other thing.
saying he
You
was
see
a
these guys
hunk.
like rubbing kids and shit on cameras that aren't theirs. It's like, dude, I don't even touch my nieces and nephews. I like just rub my niece and nephew's head. I'm not like all over them in pictures. That shit's fucking weird, dude.
That is weird.
Especially if they're not. If you're just like working with kids, like you wouldn't do that with any other coworker unless they're your work wife. Damn, they had work husbands at Nickelodeon.
They had work children. Yeah. Oh,
Bro,
God.
blow it up, dude. Did you know that Nickelodeon, it means like
Yes.
without God?
Yeah, we've all been on the same Twitter.
Yeah.
We're all on the exact same algorithm.
Nickelodeon.
It's nice that our country's unified right now.
True. Although my Twitter's taken a very sinister turn where my Twitter now is just a feed of like young black kids being mean at sports games out of nowhere. And it's like I don't go on Twitter that much. And it's just like my algorithms is like just very it's like Kumia stuff of just look at black people being fucking assholes. And it's like 12-year-olds spazzing at basketball.
Yeah, Twitter's
games.
getting pretty rowdy with that.
Yeah.
It's-
Pretty wild.
I think we need to
Focus
I
on
think,
the pedophiles.
I think we need to swap algorithms. I think they need to adjust it to where you get the opposite.
Yeah.
Blacks and whites, we need to swap algorithms.
Yeah, man.
I think we need to see white people being dickheads. Black people need to see black people being dickheads. That'd be nice. Instead of
is
the
a-
opposite, where we're all like, it's not our fault, it's black people's fault.
Yeah, true.
But
Look at this kid. He spiked the ball. I get videos of like he threw the ball and didn't hand it to the ref. You mean to tell me this isn't a real thing? And it's like, dude,
the algorithm,
what
the algorithm knows
fuck?
you're a father now. And they're like, you hand the ball to the ref. You don't fucking showboat. You don't mouth off to the ref.
Dude, I'm in total old man mode. I've completely just embraced it. I listen to my cigar smoking play. I smoke cigars now, and then I have a playlist that is just, dude, it's the funniest songs, and I just sit there and I'm like, dude, like the Kid Rock, Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah.
Like the song fucking rules, dude.
Oh,
Blasting it.
man. You've entered it.
Dude, I've entered full, and I can't fight it
You're
anymore.
conservative dad now.
I fully might be.
You're no longer a black conservative. You've reached white conservative dad, dude. The highest plane.
with black conservative
Not the
leanings.
highest plane. The highest plane is
For sure.
driving around in the back of a Mercedes. That's the highest plane. You're the old school Mercedes. That was funny. Me and Matt we saw an old Mercedes, and he was like, "Damn, that's old. That's vintage. I wonder if it got to drive around any of the goats." The goats were in the back of that waving,
Saw any real action, dude?
just waving to all the Volk.
That would be a wild flex. If you copped like a 1935.
Oh, I was just talking about this. I wanted to buy Hitler's art. You can buy Hitler's artwork.
A Ridge or
A Ridge, dude.
what?
Yeah.
How much is it?
I think cheaper than, like, it's very expensive, but it's not like what you'd think.
Oh yeah, art's expensive as fuck. 30 G's for an original hit,
For an original hit, dude. The hit maker.
bro.
Broke about allegations between a sexual relationship with Puff Sean Combs
Puff Sean Combs.
and Meek Mills. I don't know Meek Mill's real name.
Look it up before you do the video.
Why is he's like green screened into a
he
classroom.
green-screened into a classroom.
He just has his head in a classroom. That does look official, just green screening just your head to the background of like a grade school classroom.
Puffy Sean Combs.
And I don't know his
So
real
you got to
name.
cut. Start over, dude. You got the nickname first.
I know. Tommy Old Man last night, he said, what the hell did he say? He called him like Puff Diddy. He was like, yeah, Puff Diddy got in trouble. Like, damn, dude.
Puff Diddy. Yeah, Tommy old man out.
Oh, he hit us with a Puff Diddy last night. It was like nice. Yeah, this week's been just very tumultuous, dude. Iwbts, the lab got thrown under fucking.
Oh, the lab, dude.
The lab. They're trying to say the lab doesn't exist. That's where I draw the line. I'm like, bro, don't come at the man's lab.
What are they saying?
They were trying to act like his lab wasn't a real thing. They're like, we called Stanford, and there was like one research assistant in this place. And then the Iwbts team, which we need spokespeople, by the way. I saw that. I'm like, that's what's up. Spokespeople battling your hose for you. Dude,
Lemaire, you've got a new job.
Spokesperson.
You're the
dude.
spokesperson for the podcast.
All you have to do, if someone says anything we did that's bad, say, I don't believe they did that. It's pretty tight.
Yeah.
But yeah, they try to come at the lab, being like the lab doesn't exist. And then they were like, no, we were in the process of moving. So they were trying to act like he didn't have a lab. And then they were just like, I mean, dude.
I heard he had too many girlfriends. That was his problem.
So many girlfriends. Allegedly had so many girlfriends. But then here's the thing. He was like, we weren't in an exclusive relationship. So it is he said, she said. He was like, no, we weren't in an exclusive.
Yeah.
She's like, we were. But then here's for me, here's the damning evidence against one of the ladies. She was like, he was supposed to come to Thanksgiving and he never came. I'm like, bro, if you're wondering where a dude is on Thanksgiving, it's not your boyfriend.
Yeah.
If you're like, he didn't come to Thanksgiving, I'm like, yeah, that's not your boyfriend. I hate to break it to you, lady. That's not your boyfriend.
Yeah.
If you're on a holiday and you're like, where's that guy? That's my boyfriend. It's like,
yeah, he said he was going to spend Christmas at my family's. He didn't even show up. If he no calls, no shows to a fucking Christmas or Thanksgiving, that's a problem.
It is tight because he in the article they would say like he would get busted and then be like, I hate this for us, so I'm willing for us to do the repair work. Let's get on this immediately. I'm so sorry. It's like it is nice macking. Just get it into like therapy.
I saw
like,
some of it. He is undeniably a Mac, dude.
Repair work is a nice
It
term.
actually made me more interested in what he has to offer.
Yeah, man.
If you can hold it down like that.
Hold it down tough as
Maybe I
hell.
will tape my fucking mouth shut or something like that.
Yeah, dude. Get the sunlight, blast all your hoes on one quick email, and just be like, the thing they nailed him on.
He was sending emails?
Just like fucking text.
Oh.
The girl, it's one of those, it's like a movie where like the girls realized they were being cheated on and all got together and like put together that like, he had sex with me this day, and then he had sex with you, and then it was Christmas, and it's like,
Damn.
shut up, man. Like, you guys got duped.
Yeah, they got duped.
He came through. He smashed. It is what it is. He smashed out. It's nothing. It's not newsworthy. It's like this.
No.
You know, this jacked famous guy's getting a ton of pussy. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I could guess that.
Now you're telling me. Remember that Norm Tiger Woods? That's when I realized I was gay. There were two moments with Tiger Woods. It was the South Park episode, and then Norm's joke about it. And I was like, man, I'm being a dork. I'm being a white Karen.
It happened. That got a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just being like, I knew it.
Yeah, this guy acts like he's a perfectionist. He's actually cheating on his wife. He still is a perfectionist. He's unbelievable at golf.
But yeah, that shit was crazy. I read it being like, I was like, all right, there's gonna be some crazy dirt in here, and I was like, yeah, he was just fucking ladies. He was fucking a bunch of ladies.
Was he married or he wasn't even married? Yeah,
he wasn't married. He'd be like, I love you so much. He probably, the one thing that got him on there, like, he claimed he's not a sex addict, he's a love addict. I was like, let's go.
He said he was a love addict?
I'm a love addict, dude. Fuck. And they would send him hot pictures, and he always would respond,
Dude, the day they released the text, we're all done.
I saw that. I was like, show me any man where they can interview a bunch of your exes, and they could fucking shoot anyone out of the sky.
Yeah.
One ex to be like, you know what he did one time? He'd be like, dude, no.
Yeah.
No. And then he said this to me, and it's just like, yeah, I'm fucked.
Oh.
Then he snatched the blankets off of me out of a rage, and left the bedroom. It's like, shit.
Have you ripped blankets off a lady? Mm-hmm. You hit him with the fucking...
I was pissed.
The waiter with the...
I was
Did you
pissed.
leave the plates on?
I was sitting there. I was just like... dude, if you're like deep, you're like in a relationship, laying there, cohabitating, sinfully, obviously, but it's like you're laying there, and all of a sudden you're in bed next to someone, and there's just like you get like hatred. It's like emanating off of both of you. And then you're like, I'm getting up, and it's like, why the fuck should I get up? I shouldn't have to. I'm not sitting on the fucking couch. And I was just like, grabbed the blankets and just pulled them off. And I was like, and just walked out.
Damn, that's awesome.
You're gonna be cold.
God, I forgot. That's the worst feeling in the world. Getting in like a serious fight and then having to lay in bed next to each other.
Fuck, dude. It's the worst.
Yeah.
And you're sitting there, and it's like it's like magnetism. You can feel it just like
Yeah.
emanating off, and it's just like someone's foot comes over, and you're like, get off my foot.
Damn, I hope the Diddler's okay.
He's flying. I think he went to the Dominican Republic or something.
He's down there.
He flew.
He needs to go to Haiti. He needs to link with fucking.
True, the gorillas.
Who's the guy? Barbecue. He needs to link with Barbecue down there. There's no way Barbecue's still alive, right?
Isn't Haiti in the midst of a big revolt, like a gang revolt?
Yeah.
He should have become president of Haiti. Look,
For
we
real.
could turn a lot of wrongs into a right. He
Yeah.
might be the strongman that nation needs.
I figured Barbecue would be dead by now. I know, but I figured that would be. They'd put him down. Because I've seen the revolution. It's not really a crack squad. It's just fucking dudes running around with guns.
It's just clanging machetes.
Yeah.
Yeah, machete combat's for real big in Haiti.
Yeah.
They practice like machete kung fu.
It's very scary.
Sid the Kid showed me a thing on that one time where there's like machete masters.
It's their tradition, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking sick.
That's how they used the machetes from the fields as
Yeah.
slaves, and they revolted.
Yeah, man. Still
Killed all the
practice.
frogs. They're still doing it. They've got a rich history of. That was the only slave revolt in the history of humanity that worked.
Dude, living in Haiti would be fucking wild.
They did it.
Do you think any of us could like just like live there and hold it down? Do you think
No.
we'd get fucked up?
I just watched a documentary on it. It's hell, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the most. It's not. Isn't it an island?
Yeah. It's
Why
half-
is it such
it's
an
half an
unchill island? It's pretty bad, right?
Yeah, they've always just never gotten help.
Did they ever think about smoking weed like Jamaicans?
They smoke weed.
Did they smoke weed?
Yeah. But they're
Okay.
also voodoo child.
That's
dude.
what I'm
they
saying.
got a
There's
little
a-
voodoo, and they're wild down there.
They have a notorious rap for being like, if like you come into like a Haitian father, like Haitian American
Yeah.
fathers are apparently very, very, very strict.
But the other half of the island is the Dominican Republic. It's
Oh,
one
they-
island.
oh, so they are against DR.
Hispaniola.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. I was in the
And on
DR.
the other side, you go to the DR. It's like, hey, you got Sammy Sosa over there having fun,
True.
hitting home runs.
But they hate each other though.
Definitely.
Oh, it's a beef, dude.
Yeah.
That's a real beef. Because DR kind of like, they look at Haiti like, fucking
You guys
bullshit.
can't even hit home runs.
Yeah.
You guys don't have one big
Oh,
pocket.
true. Put those machetes down and pick up some bats.
They do need to pick up some baseball bats.
Bats and some chronic, dude. It's the way out of the Caribbean. It's either you get super chill on the cron or you start crushing home runs.
They're all, yeah. Those are truly your two options.
Yeah.
You got to get a nice swing down.
Or you hit the all-inclusive.
The all-inclusive's sick.
I'm going to go. I might try to launch the Haitian tourism.
I'm going to show you, when we take a break, the video of Haiti.
It's not.
You're going to go, I'm never going there. Dude, they never recovered from the earthquake.
I know.
And the Clintons came down and took all the money.
Clintons went down and took all the damn kids.
They took
That
all
was
the
the
kids
problem.
and money.
They sent all their kids to Nickelodeon, dude. The Clintons came down and fucking.
Haiti just became Nickelodeon, dude.
Yeah.
The bros went down. Mr. Handy was down there.
Didn't they get hit with a tsunami too? They got hit with a tsunami in like.
I don't think I hit with a
They got hit with a tsunami in like 04. And they
Really?
never recovered
Tsunami?
from that. Yeah. I just
don't
looked
think
it up
so,
to make
man.
sure. Yeah.
The Haitian tsunami?
Yeah,
Although you wouldn't need the biggest wave to take out Haiti.
earthquake. No, I know.
Yeah, we sure it was a tsunami. It could have just been a sick wave. It could have been a big wave.
I swear to God, I don't think that I follow Haitian news pretty closely, and I don't think there was a tsunami in 04.
There's an earthquake in the Gulf of Mexico.
There was the quake in the Gulf. Damn, what happened with that? The ground split
Come on,
open.
Lemaire, look at your phone and tell us what happened.
Well, this says almost 250,000 people were killed in 2010
Oh, in the earthquake.
in the earthquake.
Damn, they lost 250.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Do you know what the event that has the natural event that has the most casualties?
Probably the tsunami in
Japan.
the one in that hit like India and Indonesia and all that.
What? No,
Oh, I remember that.
of all time.
Of all time.
Of all time.
It-
Guess
does
the body
Does
count.
the plague count?
No, this was like a
Natural
natural
disaster.
disaster.
Krakatoa.
What was that?
That was an Indonesian volcano.
Could have been. There was an earthquake in China, I think, that killed 750,000
That
people
makes
in one
sense,
day.
yeah.
It was in like the year 1500.
Yeah.
That is the highest casualty natural disaster. on
China
record.
gets hit with numbers that you're just like, no
True.
way.
Yeah.
They blew up a dam during World War II. Killed everybody.
In the flood?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
They starved everybody. They lost like 50 million people.
Oh my God.
In 1887, 2 million people died in a flood in China.
What?
The largest death toll from a natural disaster.
Oh my God.
In Haiti, the 2010 earthquake in Haiti was 300,000. That's number 5 on the list.
Damn.
Give us the list. It was a good list.
It is.
Dude.
China's got top 2.
China's going wild.
Yeah.
China's got the Yellow River flood of 1887 and then the Tangshan earthquake.
That's a Tangshan earthquake. So I was wrong. There was a flood that got 2 million.
1976?
1976 was the Tangshan earthquake, and it was 655,000. 100,000.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Maybe I had the time.
Good Lord.
That's
then
fucking
Pakistan, well, now it's Bangladesh, but at the time it was Pakistan in the 70s, had a 500,000 death cyclone. That's number 3.
Oh.
And then the Haiti earthquake is number 4.
Damn. Dude, if it's true that there was like government officials that went down there and stole kids, that'd be, you imagine like picking through the wreckage of like a basically apocalyptic event. And you're just like moving stones and like grabbing kids and just fucking like kissing their hair and stuff. That's fucking crazy.
I found one.
That's fucking nuts. If true, shame on them.
China had an even bigger one in 1931. 4 million died in a flood.
Really?
What the hell?
Yeah, but was that the one they blew up the dam?
I'm not sure. It says the 1931 China floods in Wuhan.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah, the first.
So that's why it's a wet market.
It was the breach of
the
a
market's
dike.
got wet.
Sure, they never recovered. I mean, that much water,
No.
you'd think. How long would that take to dry? Forever? Yeah, natural disasters are crazy. When you get into the scale of like the numbers.
They're always
Dude,
so scary.
2 million dead?
Yeah.
4.
The what?
4 in that one.
4 milli.
4 milli. Because a dam broke.
Yeah.
Oh. So how do you die in a flood? Like, I guess it's the sheer volume of the water just sweeps you under. Or you just can't, you only swim so
Debris,
long.
I guess.
Yeah.
Everywhere you
It's all
just,
the debris from it. Yeah, you get
your
hit
whole
with
neighborhood
debris.
turns into a super deep lake, and it's just like, how long can you tread for? They didn't have like helicopters and shit, probably.
No.
Have you seen the Japanese tsunami footage?
Yes.
They
A little
released
bit
it.
of that.
It's fucking crazy.
It's very scary.
It's sad.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It's very scary. There's some funny ones though. You get some
Yeah.
funny ones out of it.
There's one guy on the roof. He was like, "Oh no, my
Yeah.
car!
Yeah.
It's going."
There's one video that's like fast forwarded, but you see a car like driving up to it, seeing the water coming, and it like hits a 3-point turn and flies away. It's very funny.
That would be kind of satisfying, though, if you did
Driving
get
away
away
from
from
it?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Sped
were
away.
laughing about that yesterday with the bridge. Just the one. There's 8 people on the bridge in Baltimore. and
Yeah,
just
we were
one-
talking, just drinking and driving, just being like, "Oh shit, I didn't know I was this fucked up. Like, I'm flying through the air right now."
Or just trying to hit the gas really hard
Just try-
and
yeah.
shoot the gap.
Oh,
the whole
Fast and
bridge
Furious.
just gone.
Yeah, making it would
Let's
be
go.
crazy.
Finally, I am Vin Diesel. I'm gonna fucking jump this.
There was what, like 6 people were on the bridge? 8. Oh, 6 all right. Damn, man. On the bridge.
That's so fucking
How
scary.
the fuck did the boat hit the bridge?
Cyberpunk. No, I think it's the boat just lost power.
One stood.
Christ.
I love these, but it's really
Chose the path of perpetual torment. In his ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. And those that